O'Malley is going to lead off for the Seattle Mariners on an absolutely beautiful day in Scottsdale, and we hope all of our friends and our Roof family are doing well back home with all the snow from yesterday. Let's take a look at the Mariners batting order, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Seth Smith, our old friend, he'll be batting in the 2 spot. He's had a gorgeous spring. Then Robbie Cano, the perennial all-star. Nelson Cruz, big slugger. Steve Clevenger behind the plate will bat 5th. Stephen Romero. Dae-Ho Lee will bat 7th, playing first base. Chris Taylor at shortstop batting 8th. And Daniel Robertson trying to make his way onto the Mariners club will be in center field batting 9th. And it's great to see Tyler Chatwood on the hill, on a big league hill. It's been almost 2 years as we were talking about.
It is. He's worked very hard to get back here. And for me, what we're going to watch from Tyler Chatwood today is really about repeating his mechanics, staying healthy, and location, location, location.
And that location's on the outer third of the plate with movement. Strike 1 on Sean O'Malley. Having a big spring. O'Malley comes in with a .484 average. And I'm sure it's been quite some time since people have seen Chatwood work. He likes to work quickly, which as a player behind him you love.
You absolutely love that when a guy's just up there pumping strikes, pounding the strike zone and working fast. It keeps you on your toes and ready to play.
You know, you and I were chatting earlier today about Chatwood. Some of the things you said off camera I thought were very interesting. And because he's a shorter right-hand pitcher, the ball gets on you a little bit and it kind of keeps its plane.
Right, I assimilated it to Roy Oswalt. It's kind of a one-plane fastball. As Roy Oswalt used to do, they get real low when they release the pitch and the ball comes out of his hand. It doesn't necessarily go down plane, so I always called it an invisible fastball. When you swing at it, it's tough because it's always belt high. It's a little bit above comfortable, and it's just always hard to square up. Tyler does a good job of that.
91 to 93. The curveball is blocked by Dustin Garneau. So it's 2 balls, 2 strikes on the leadoff hitter, Sean O'Malley. The berm filling up in the outfield. It's been a great spring, and it's been a very good spring for the Rockies. You see a good portion of their opening day lineup, what figures to be their opening day lineup today for Walt Weiss. 3-2, and that's fouled back as well by O'Malley. Chatwood grew up in Orange County. Had an opportunity to go to UCLA as a two-way player, kind of like you, Corey. I mean, he was a tremendous pitcher, but also could play shortstop, and he can hit.
Yeah,
that just missed. Ball 4.
You can see it. I think he ranks 2nd right now among active guys in the Rockies in hits.
Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively. Their outfield is going to be terrific with the addition of Gerardo Parra defensively. Gerardo will be in left field. Charlie Blackmon naturally in center, and Cargo is in right. The infield, Arenado, Trevor Story, DJ LeMahieu, Ben Paulson, and Dustin Garneau is doing the catching. The only guy that figures to be in the starting lineup on opening day that's not playing today is Nick Hundley. Here's Seth Smith. Talk about a big spring. He's trying to catch Nolan Arenado. He's hitting .556.
That's all?
Yeah.
So Seth always fascinated me as a teammate. He's one of those guys that has a steady heartbeat. Nothing seems to rattle him. He always talked about how he stares about halfway in front of the pitcher's mound and he imagines a box, and if the ball's in that box, he's swinging at it.
This is hit softly to Story, and he's got to go off the backhand because he was swung over on the right side of the infield. So Smith is retired. Moving into scoring position is O'Malley, 1 out, and that'll bring up Robbie Cano. Well, you got to see some of the actions of Trevor Story, and Story is a big, strong guy. He's almost as tall as Tulowitzki. 6'2" and change. Tulo's about 6'3", and will play at a similar weight. I asked him the other day. He's at 212, and we were chatting with him before the game. He is stout. Yeah. He is strong.
Yeah, he's built like a tree trunk. I think I even see it in his batting. He reminds me of Mike Trout. It's very impressive the way he has put himself together out there.
So here's Cano. Kind of amazing for Robbie Cano, who had a tremendous second half of the season last year after a slow first half. And he did it with a double hernia. He had surgery after the season for the double hernia, and still put up large numbers. Ball and a strike on the former Yankee. Mariners figure and hope to contend in what is always a competitive American League West.
Why?
Rangers are defending champs.
And with the Rangers defending, that goes to show you how the marathon that is a baseball season, because there wasn't a whole lot of talk of them. They were quiet. They did acquire Cole Hamels, but they just kept on plodding along and ended up winning the division.
Sprayed the fastball there. 2 balls and a strike. Chatwood making his 5th appearance of the spring, 11 innings, only 6 hits given up. That's good, but he has walked 7.
A lot of that's that repeating those mechanics, finding that arm slot, because I remember when I was coming back from Tommy John surgery, it was really difficult to repeat my arm slot. It felt different every time, and I think the good news is with Tyler, he's done this before, so the learning curve will be much quicker, but he's had to deal with that, I'm sure.
And now Cano in a hitter's count, 3-1, with a runner at second and 1 out. And Chatwood on the outside corner, 3-2.
Good 2-seam fastball right there, just catching the outside corner, maybe a little off.
He gets dramatic movement with that fastball. And Cano wastes that pitch. Cano signed that enormous deal as a free agent, $240 million to go from the East Coast to the Pacific Northwest.
I'm sure with that $240 million, there was a little bit of pressure as well.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
Swung on and missed. So a big strikeout by Tyler Chatwood as he gets Cano for the 2nd out.
Right there from Chat, that's a lot of confidence right there. That's a 3-2 changeup right there. Throws it for a strike. Even in missing down in the zone, that'd be a very effective pitch against a guy like Cano.
Here's Nelson Cruz. He's hitting just 103 this spring. Don't worry about a veteran guy that's done it repeatedly like Cruz. In fact, the other day, that pitch is in. This is how strong Cruz is. He hit a ball out at Camelback Ranch against the Dodgers, 380 feet. And when they did the super slow replay on it, he hit it off the very end of the bat.
That is a strong man. I remember in 2008, and I was in AAA, he was down there, and for the 2 series we played him, I think he hit 8 home runs in Colorado Springs and I think it was Oklahoma City then. He was with Texas. And he was just absolutely crushing the bat. You couldn't throw anything. There was no reason to throw him a strike.
This is lobbed into right field. Cargo lays out and did not make the catch. So that'll drop, and a run will score. So Cruz drives in Sean O'Malley. It's 1-0 Seattle.
Yeah, he does a good job fighting it off into right field there. Cargo, I love the dive. I love the dive by Cargo and the effort he made, but he tried to sell it like he caught it. Unfortunately, he trapped it a little bit, but he was able to keep it in front and also in his glove, and that was able to hold Cruz at first base.
It's the time of year. Whatever you do, stay healthy.
Exactly. We talked to DJ before the game a little bit, and position players are chomping at the bit. He said, I've been anxious for about a week now to get going and start the season.
Steve Clevenger at the plate. Well, for years now, guys show up in peak shape. This is not 1964 where guys, were coming off their insurance job and showed up and had to lose 15 pounds and hadn't swung a bat or thrown a ball in 4 months.
No, it is now a full-time, all-year job. Here's your trivia question for the day. Who was Steve Clevenger traded for?
Well, if you let me look at the media guide, I'll give you the answer here.
No, Jake Arrieta.
Is that right?
Yeah, he was in that trade.
I think this ball's hit to left for a base hit. I think more people are familiar with Arrieta at this point in time than Clevenger.
Yep.
Stephen Romero will be next. Let's talk about Steve Foster jogs to the mound. The reason you have to jog is there's a time limit. As soon as you come out of the dugout, it's 30 seconds. So he's arrived with 21 seconds on the clock to deliver his message.
I'm anxious to see Bruce Bochy and that his little hobble. He's gonna have to work to get out there.
Typically, when Boch goes out, he's making a move. He's got the hook with him. You know what? We'll have to put our own clock on some of the slower pitching coaches to get out. You can't just saunter out there anymore.
Nope.
Major League Baseball, last couple of years, endeavoring to speed up the game. 2 on, Romero at the plate. And he takes high, ball 1. Last time you saw him, we all saw him, Chatwood, it was against the Mariners. Actually, it's 2 starts ago, but against the Mariners, he went 3 innings, 34 pitches.
Yeah, very efficient. I thought his fastball location was great. He threw 18 strikes. The 2 walks he did have, one was kind of pitching around Nelson Cruz. Can't really remember the other one, but he was very efficient with his pitches. He worked down the zone. I think he got 8 ground ball outs, too, in the 3 innings, so he was very effective.
And he gets a little bit of a mulligan because it's been a couple of years, and he's working off rust. He did pitch in winter ball in the Dominican. But one of the points of emphasis this spring, and it's not a surprise, Walt was talking about this very subject with us earlier in the morning. And they got DJ came in and they pick off Nelson Cruz. What was about, you can't walk people, talking to the pitching staff, just way too many free passes a year ago because it wasn't a big strikeout team. Good pick there to get out of the inning. A run for the Mariners. We'll see the Rockies on O next. Mariners leading 1-0 with Corey Sullivan. I'm Drew Goodman. A good portion of our crew got stuck back in Denver with all of the weather yesterday. Taijuan Walker, 23-year-old, really gifted right-hander, 6'4", 235 pounds. He's on the hill for the Mariners this afternoon. Charlie Blackmon's going to lead it off. This kid won 11 games last year, Corey, and they hope that in the not too distant future he keeps climbing up that rotation ladder. He'll probably slot in the 4 spot right now for a pretty deep rotation. They picked up Wade Miley. They'll split up, I'm sure, the lefties a little bit. So he'll push 3rd or 4th in the rotation, headed, of course, by Felix Hernandez.
Right, and he's kind of been the linchpin of the rotation for them, the guy they've been trying to count on for that depth to stretch it out. As Charlie fouls one back. You know, he throws a hard fastball, but he really throws a hard splitter, and he's what a lot of people would call an extreme fly ball pitcher, which works up there in that thick air in Seattle.
Yeah, Safeco, you got to be a strong man to hit it out. Blackman takes away.
I had 4 homers there.
Do you have 4 Safeco?
No,
come on.
Absolutely not.
Standing on second base?
Yeah, exactly. With a fungo and a golf ball.
Hit on the knuckles of Blackman, is fouled off. Charlie at 242. He's hit a couple of long balls this spring. Last year, Blackman, the only player in the big leagues with 15+ home runs and 40+ stolen bases. How about that?
He's become very dynamic, both at the plate and on the bases. You know, Charlie's one of those guys. I don't put a lot of weight on spring training stats, mainly because we talked to Charlie last year in spring training. He said, I really want to work on getting comfortable with hitting with 2 strikes. And there's only one way to do that. You got to get to 2 strikes. So once you do that, you don't worry about numbers. He's just working on that process for the season.
This ball clubbed to right. It's going to run to the wall on 2 hops. And it will be a double for Blackman, leading off the Rockies half of the 1st.
And he does exactly what we're talking about. He's worked to get comfortable hitting with 2 strikes, and here he gets a hard fastball in. Walker was trying to get it away, but he missed in. Charlie does a great job of pulling his hands in, getting the barrel of the bat to the ball to drive it out into right field for a double.
So that'll bring up Trevor Story, who has been the story of the Rockies spring training camp 2016. He knew there was an opportunity with Jose Reyes not around, and you know, it could have gone 2 ways. Talking about a young player.
Yep.
He's going to be in the big leagues at some point. He knew that coming in, but you know, he could have struggled with the pressure of saying, maybe I can win that job. He did the exact opposite. He's hit over 300. He's hit 4 home runs. In fact, he was within inches of hitting a 5th home run. He hit one off the top of the wall at Surprise about a week and a half ago. He has made every play defensively. And Walt mentioned before the game, for probably the umpteenth time, nothing is speeded up on him, and you can appreciate that as a former player and when you were a young player.
Absolutely. I still feel like at some point he'll have that awe moment where he gets caught up just for a second, whether it's if he makes the team opening day or his first at bat, where it's going to speed up just a little bit, but it's great to see him adapting so fast on the fly. Everybody talks about his professionalism and how hard he works. It's great to see from a young player, especially somebody who's coming in and possibly going to fill the shoes of somebody like Tulo.
He has not been in awe of the surroundings. 2 balls and a strike. Runner at second base, nobody out. Infield straight up, outfield straight up for Story. And he goes the opposite way. Fair ball down the right field line. Blackman will jog home. Back-to-back doubles, and the Rockies tie it up. Trevor Story's impressive spring continues. And the thing I loved about it, and I know you're going to jump on this, inside out, he was going to move the runner no matter what, and it turned out even better for him.
2-1 count, young kid. It'd be very easy to go ahead and take a big swing at trying to hit a long ball, but instead he lets the ball get as deep as possible. When you saw that side angle, it was all the way to his belt, to his back leg, to drive the ball to the right side. All he was trying to do was help the team out and move the runner over. I love seeing it, and he gets rewarded with a double for it.
Here's Cargo, and you really like him in that 2 spot, especially as a young player.
I do, because he's going to get a lot more fastballs with a guy like Cargo or Nolan behind him, and it's when you're getting to the big leagues and you're trying to adapt and adjust, getting fastballs is exactly what you want.
Breaking ball misses. It's ball 1 on Cargo. He's hit a lot of balls hard this spring. Average at just 211. Couple home runs, 4 RBIs. Had some atom balls. He's fine. Looks good. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? How about back-to-back-to-back doubles?
Oh, and wait, who's on deck? Maybe the hottest hitter in the Cactus League.
Well, he's the hottest hitter in the sport.
Yeah.
3 doubles greet Taijuan Walker, and the Rockies have a 2-1 lead. And then you get the early visit at the mound from the pitching coach.
Yeah, I think he's going out and saying, listen, you got to try and get your pitches on the outside part of the plate. Right now he's missing over the middle of the plate and even inside. Cargo right there, he does what Cargo does. He gets the barrel head out and just drives the ball in right center. What I love seeing from the Rockies guys right now is none of them are over swinging. You've really got to focus as an offensive, as a team, on an approach, and they're doing a great job right now.
No question. Defensively, the Mariners have Stephen Romero, Daniel Robertson, Nelson Cruz left to right. The infield, O'Malley, Chris Taylor, Robbie Cano, Dae-Ho Lee. At first, Steve Clevenger's behind the plate, and here is Nolan Arenado, as Sully alluded to. He's hitting .605 as he takes a strike. The only way you can get him out was like the other day. He in his first at bat, he had a sinking line drive to center against Milwaukee, and the center fielder laid out and stole a hit from him.
Well, I just figured he was playing RBI baseball.
Next time up, he hit a 2-run home.
Where they can't catch it.
Where they cannot catch it. I mean, 3 Rockets. Blackman with 2 strikes. Story trying to go the other way. And Cargo with one of his missiles to the gap. That's in. How about Arenado the other day? He played 3 straight. The Rockies were up in surprise. He told Walt, "No, no problem. I'll drive up there." That's a surprise for folks who don't know. That's the longest road trip. It's close, 45, 50 minutes, could be an hour. This ball to center field, and it'll be caught by Robertson, and that's the first out. But it doesn't matter what time of year it is. He loves to play.
He absolutely loves the game. And in spring training, we talked about DJ saying he's ready to get going into the season. Nolan right now, he's just trying to just pile up those at bats to find that rhythm. He's found it. So now he's just trying to stay in that rhythm. Right there, he just caught that ball about a half inch off the end of the bat. Otherwise, he'd have driven it in the left center field gap right there.
Yeah. Well, one of your first looks at the veteran Gerardo Parra, one of the Rockies' additions in the offseason, signed a 3-year deal. He was with Milwaukee and Baltimore last year. He's had a really good spring. He pops this up to shallow left. Romero battling the sun, tucks it away, 2 gone, and that'll bring up LeMahieu. DJ hitting in the 6th spot. He's like the Swiss Army knife. Yeah. You can hit him anywhere, right?
Absolutely. He's got the kind of approach that plays anywhere. You might not want to hit him 4-hole just because you typically want a little more pop there, but he can do it, and he's not going to change. Typically when guys bounce around in the order, I know for myself, when I hit 2-hole or lead off or 5-hole or 8-hole, I tried to adapt to that spot in the lineup, where DJ just is who he is. He's not going to change. He's just going to try and work the ball up the middle the other way. Now, there's a saying I love, know thyself. He knows who he is, and he's comfortable with it, and he doesn't try and change.
Be who you are. There's some guys you always worry about it. They're in the wrong hitting group. Sully, obviously, you hit an occasional home run, but if you were in the hitting group with Cargo and Helton and Tulowitzki back in the day, well, you can't all of a sudden start launching balls over the wall. You got to stay in your lane, right?
Absolutely. And funny on that is Helton, back in the day when it was Holiday and Tulo and Garrett, he would never hit in their group because they hit too many homers, and he'd try and do it. And that just goes to show you can be influenced by, even Todd, how as great a hitter as he was influenced by the surroundings. So you got to know who you are and be comfortable with it.
1-1 on LeMahieu. That misses. I remember, I think it was Clint Barmas one spring, and official workouts hadn't even begun, but guys get down early and they're working out. Remember down in Tucson, that old field 5 way out there,
where
right?
we'd always take BP, the second group.
Yeah. And it was Ian Stewart, I think it was Todd, I think it was Matt. Barmy said, "I don't want to hit in this group."
Yeah. No, absolutely not. He's like, I can't do it. Speaking of Tucson, you were talking about how far surprise is with Nolan. Now, when we were in Tucson, when you came in, there was a giant sign on the board that just said "surprise." that meant you were making
that was a 3-hour ride.
You were making the 3-hour trip and coming home in rush hour traffic.
And invariably the bus would break down.
Of course.
DJ, base hit center field. Around third, here's Cargo, and the Rockies have their 3rd run. And it's 3-1. Big 2-out RBI from DJ LeMahieu, his 4th ribby of the spring, as he's greeted there by Eric Young.
Now, I don't know what the stats say or what the numbers are. A little cutter right there from Walker, maybe a little slider, but DJ gets on plane and he stays on plane and stays through the baseball to drive it up the middle. I would be able to wager a bet that DJ LeMahieu is one of the guys who barrels the ball as frequently as anybody in Major League Baseball. He seems to square the ball up an incredible amount.
Here's Ben Paulson. And Ben, kick save, as Marv Albert would say, kick save and a beauty by Taijuan Walker, and he'll finally get to the dugout. What a response by the Rockies. After giving up a run in the first, they counter with 3 straight doubles and then an RBI single from LeMahieu, and they have a 3-1 lead as we move on to inning number 2.
By Taco Bell. Taco Bell revealed its biggest idea ever, the quesalupa. Delicious melty cheese stuffed inside the shell. Get one today. And by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Well, the Rockies impressive at the plate in the first inning with 3 runs. Mark Stout, former Rocky Ryan Spilborgs, but it comes down to pitching. Tyler Chatwood, Corey Sullivan mentioned it, shorter right-handed pitcher. Did that strike you as an interesting comment?
No, it was a great comment because you start talking about downhill playing with the taller pitchers. But we started thinking about Tim Lincecum, Marcus Stroman, Roy Oswalt was what Corey just talked about. And it does. It gives you a different plane. But not only that, if we start looking more into what spin rates, last year Rafael Bencor had the highest spin rate on fastballs. But it's a different look. And so when you're starting looking at all these things, height is as important a factor as there is in anything when you're measuring a pitcher.
Let's go back to Scottsdale. Chatwood on the hill. Here we go, top 2, guys.
All right, boys, thank you very much. Stephen Romero is going to step in the top of the 2nd inning. Tyler Chatwood looking for a little more efficient inning. He was behind in counts in that first inning, walked 1, gave up a couple of singles and a run. And the first pitch is down low. Alfonso Marquez calling balls and strikes. And this is a crew that is a man short, which happens periodically in Cactus League Baseball and the Grapefruit League as well. And it's good practice for the base umpires. If a guy goes down, which every once in a while happens, they go back to their minor league roots and the 3-man mechanics.
It's interesting to see them have to move around and adapt on plays that say second base right now where nobody's coming on a double, and just how they rotate. They need to find that rhythm as well. It's spring for them as well.
Yep. 2-1 on Romero. .30 pitches already in the ballgame for Chatwood. That is not a good number. A lot of changes for the Mariners in the offseason. This is slowly hit. Chatwood bobbles and then he throws it away and it goes into the camera well. So it's going to be really, you almost apply 2 errors there, but they'll apply 1. It's E1. I don't think he was going to get him after the bobble, and Romero ends up at second base.
Yeah, and I think if you ask Tyler, I think he was looking to make the throw. His eyes were already moved the first baseman before he picked up the ball, a lot like a wide receiver looking down the field when he's got a touchdown in his hands, and he drops the ball. Unfortunately, he rushed it a little bit then, didn't let his arm catch up and threw it away.
Big man Dae-Ho Lee at the plate. 6'4" and about 260 pounds. He had 332 home runs in Japan and Korea.
It's quite a bit, and I think the idea here by Jerry Dipoto, they signed him to a minor league deal with a lot of incentives, not knowing what he was going to be able to do here in Major League Baseball, possibly platoon him with Adam Lynn.
Broken bat, and that sneaks under the glove of Paulson, and Romero scores easily. And the Rockies not sharp on defense here in the second. And that'll be an error on Paulson.
Yeah, you don't know if the end of the bat sometimes as a fielder, when the barrel of the bat starts flying, it's easy to draw your eye to that, and that might have caught Paulson's eye. He kind of chicken winged with his glove there, unfortunately pulled it up a little bit early, and the ball was able to get by him.
Shortstop Chris Taylor at the plate. Nobody out. Lee a conservative lead at first. So a number of changes for the Mariners. Jerry Dipoto, our old friend, now the general manager. You were speaking about Jerry a moment ago. Scott Service, longtime ties to the state of Colorado. Scott living south of Denver. And he is a manager for the first time in his life. I mean, and this has been the trend lately, Sully. We're guys who never managed before. Obviously, Walt had never managed before. Mike Matheny had never managed before. Rob Ventura. Ground ball, past a diving Nolan Arenado, and it redirects into left field. And now moving up as Parra bobbled for a moment is Chris Taylor. That'll be a base hit. And they're going to give Parra an error. So that's 3 errors in the inning.
Yeah, this is one of those where you just kind of want to forget it. Once they start happening, you got to move on. Right there, you're hoping Nolan makes the great play to turn that into a double play. Unfortunately, hits off the end of his glove and kicks into left field. I think this is also one of those things where Nolan has to learn the guy playing next to him with Trevor Story, because Trevor was actually pinching the hole. And had Nolan not gone after that ball, Trevor would have been able to feel it pretty cleanly and possibly turn 2 from shortstop.
Second and third, nobody out. Daniel Robertson batting .448 with 9 ribbies this spring. He's batting 9th. This is the guy that's dropped 30 pounds from a year ago. Colleague Dave Sims on the broadcast with Rick Riz for the Mariners today. And Dave was telling us earlier, he said last year he showed up at camp and he's not a big guy. He's popped in foul territory. Paulson does not have a play. And he looked at him and he said, "Who do you think you are, Hack Wilson?" Now, this goes way back, but Hack Wilson, if you look up the pictures of him, he drove in 191. There's Dave, tremendous broadcaster. Drove in 191, which is the all-time record, and he's like 5'4" with the Cubs. 5'4", but weighed like 210.
Wow, so he was a square.
He was a square, yes. He's 5'4" tall, 5'4" wide.
Back to the conversation about Scott Service and first-time manager, that is kind of the going trend, but I think it's kind of breaking the ethos that has always existed with, you gotta go out and get a guy who's experienced, who's done it. And that doesn't mean there aren't guys out there that are just as valuable who have never done it.
play by Chatwood. It gets over his head. It's going to be a run. So there's the first out.
And I also think with GMs like Jerry Dipoto, there are a lot of guys that from when they played that are their right-hand man. And I remember when I first retired from the game, I went and talked with Jerry Dipoto when he was with the Diamondbacks, and we sat there and we talked baseball for 8 or 9 hours. We had lunch at one point, and then the next thing we knew, it was 6 o'clock at night. And he talked about how Scott and him were close and what he thought of Scott. So it's not shocking to me that Jerry would go out and bring in him.
Sean O'Malley at the plate takes a strike. Edgar Martinez, who came on in the middle of last season, was maybe the best DH of all time, took over the hitting coach duties. You saw him in the shot a moment ago. He's a holdover. There's a broken bat. Mel Stottlemyre's now the pitching coach. Mariners 2 years ago won 87 games. They were in the high 70s last year. Took a step backwards.
Something I really like from Tyler that he's doing now, he's got himself in a little bit of trouble. You really see him working into hitters, and even major league hitters, they really don't like the ball in. They want it out so they can get their hands extended, but he's absolutely pounded Robertson and O'Malley in. Now broke 2 bats, and he's getting dribblers back to the mound, as you see, and that's what you like to see when a guy's in trouble and in a jam.
0-2 pitches up high, 1-2. He's been working 91 to 93. If you're wondering about velocity, that's good location there. Rockies up 3-2 in the top of the second inning. No television tomorrow. We're back on the air Saturday and Sunday. Swung on and missed, and now there's 2 outs with Seth Smith coming up. A chance to get out of this inning and really limit the damage.
What I really like about that too is when you work in, it makes a hitter get anxious. He feels like a hitter's got to get his bat head out to try and get there. And what it does is when you start elevating the ball, you start trying to speed up as a hitter, and it creates swings and misses, especially up in the zone.
And Smith takes a strike. Smith bounced up the middle to Story his first time up. Trevor threw him out. Rockies have Story virtually right behind the base runner at second base, Chris Taylor. Daeho Lee at third, Taylor at second, and that's high, 2-1. You're at the point of the spring where you'd like your starting pitchers to throw in that 75 pitch range.
Just not in 3 innings of work.
Yes. This ball is well hit center field. Blackman going back, and it is off the very top of the wall. It'll be a 2-run double for the former Rockies Seth Smith, and the Mariners go back in front 4-3.
Seth's one of those guys who's a fastball hunter. He always looks for it. He's never looking for an off-speed pitch. He's never trying to jump on it. He got a fastball belt high right down the middle. We call it middle. He just put a great swing on it. And unfortunately for the Rockies, he was able to get it out off the center field wall. Chatty definitely knew he had missed his location there. These are the good things, though, to work out in spring training. Leave him here. You know, he's, like I said, he's focused on health first and foremost, repeating his mechanics and his arm slot, and location. If you can get 2 of the 3, that's what you know, it's something to build on. You're always trying to work towards your next start in spring training just to kind of get the rust off.
This was fouled off by Cano, and it's going to land in the dugout. Mariners dugout 0-1. Cano struck out his first time up. 2 strikeouts for Chatwood. His next pitch will be his 50th here in the 2nd inning. Mariners brought 60 players to big league camp this year. 31 new faces from a year ago. Big turnover. 0-1 to Cano.
I don't think that's necessarily uncommon when you bring in a new GM. There's guys that he's liked all along and always wanted to acquire, I'm sure, and finds a way to do it in the offseason.
You see that miss there at the big league level, Corey. That's a big miss.
It is. It looks a little bit like Tyler's flying a little bit on his front side, and his throwing arm, his right arm's having a little tough time catching up. And you can see on that pitch right there, it was much smoother. He stayed close. It's something you often see from a catcher. I think it's the universal sign for your flying. They tend to take their glove hand and hit their left shoulder and let the pitcher know you got to stay closed.
Changeup, 3-2. Nelson Cruz. And that's a base hit. Around third is Smith. Cargo's throw is going to hold him. And then Garneau out at third base. Second time a Mariner runner has not gone in, hitting the dirt. And that will be a 9-2-5 putout to end the inning. 3 runs, 3 errors by the Rockies, and the Mariners have a 4-3 lead. Gorgeous throw from Cargo.
Back to Salt River Fields. Want to watch your favorite team from your mobile device? MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is now available. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices.
Dustin Garneau is going to lead off for the Rockies in the bottom of the 2nd inning. 4-3 Seattle. A run in the first, 3 in the second, aided by 3 Rockies errors. Taijuan Walker misses, and it's 2-0 on Garneau. Dustin hitting just 111 this spring. Looks like he'll be the backup to Nick Hundley. Tom Murphy and Garneau were battling for that spot. And Murphy was scuffling a little bit. Murphy's got a big, bright future, and I think they want to get him down in AAA playing every day.
I think that's important for him to play every day. It'd also be valuable for him to learn from Nick Hundley every day, but I just think he needs to work on his swing playing a little bit and also setting his target a little bit lower as Dustin lays into that ball.
High and deep left center field, and it's off the top of the wall. That ball just kept carrying for Garneau. And over the glove of Romero, who leaped out there in left center field. So it's a leadoff double. And that's the Rockies' 4th double already with nobody out in the 2nd inning.
I think they've done a great job. Again, Taijuan Walker misses with the fastball. He's trying to work away. It runs back over the center of the plate, and Dustin got just enough of it to get it out over Romero's head. But I do think that whoever designs all the fields out here in Arizona really does not like center fielders and left fielders, because the sun travels throughout the game and just gets the left fielder and the center fielder the whole game.
Well, an opportunity in the spring to get a bunt down for Tyler Chatwood, one of the better hitting pitchers you will see. Walt's really fond of the slug bunt. He's used it effectively in his first 3 years as a manager, but in this situation you would assume just get the bunt down and move him 90 feet. Right, and
it's been kind of the theme of the whole spring training. They're working on that win an inning, you know, the whole idea that they're trying to play a little bit of small ball to take it out with them on the road. As Tyler lays down a phenomenal bunt to make third baseman field it, he's able to get Garneau over to third base.
He gets the job done, and that'll bring up Blackman, who roped a double to right field his first time up, and then would score moments later on a Trevor Story double, and then Story would score on a Cargo double. You work on this every single day in batting practice. That first round, get him over, get him a hit and run, get him over with the runner on second, then get him in. This is a get him in at bat for Charlie Blackman, and it'll work there with a hard ground ball through the right side. He get himself on also. Yeah, that ties the game at 4.
Yeah, Charlie did a great job there. He saw that the infield was playing back, so he didn't try and adjust his swing. Sometimes in that scenario, you're trying to get a pitch up in the zone to hit. But Charlie wasn't. You could see that the second baseman and the shortstop are playing deep. First baseman's playing deep. So all you got to do is put a ball on the ground, give yourself up, and he's rewarded with a base hit.
You obviously ran some. How important is it for a base stealer like Blackman to take a few opportunities in the spring? Obviously, you want to preserve the legs. You don't want to beat up the body in March with the 6-month season on the horizon. But, you know, this is one of those situations where it's a good running position in this baseball game.
It definitely is. Charlie, also you get limited at bats, so you might not get that many opportunities out on the bases. I think you got to pick and choose. You know, you get an 0-1 count like now we have that might be an off-speed count, might see a curveball here, and when you do that, you got to try and get your timing down. Whether you get thrown out or not, that's completely irrelevant. It's really just working on your timing, making sure you're getting the best jump you can possible.
Oh, and 1 on Story. And this ball is down the right field line, headed toward the Rockies bullpen. It'll go over their bullpen and out of play. Yeah, every time I come here, and it's been a number of seasons now, it seems like Tucson was just a year or two ago, but it's been 5 or 6 years now. This is such a gorgeous facility.
It is. It's incredible that it's only been here a handful of years.
Story holds up 1 and 2. On the wall in the press box, there are literally like 15 different awards given out annually that Salt River Fields' complex is one. Best spring training facility, best fan experience inside, 2-2.
And I would say those two are right on. It's unmatched in the actual facility. I got to play for 5 organizations. I saw some in Florida, some here in Arizona, and this is by far the best I've ever seen. And for fan experience, I don't think it gets much better.
Nope. 2-2 on Trevor. And a base hit to right. Blackman is going to shut it down at second base as Cruz got to it quickly. And Trevor Story, who brought a .314 average into the ballgame, has a double to right and a sharp single to right to raise his average.
Again, what you like to see from Trevor, too, is the 2-strike approach, shortening up the swing, not trying to do too much. He let the ball get deep again. And the one knock on Trevor, dating back to 2013, has been the strikeout rate. I think in 2013 it was 33%, and he's really working to cut that down. And in order to do it, you got to get comfortable hitting with 2 strikes. And right there, you saw that he was a little bit more comfortable. Again, you're going to have those at-bats you give away. Everybody does it. But he's really working hard to let the ball get deep with 2 strikes and not trying to overswing.
Here's Cargo. And he takes ball 1. Well, 37 at-bats this spring. Just 8 strikeouts. Right. So the ratio much better. Outside, 2-0. Cargo's first time up, he hit one of those laser beams of his to right center field for a run-scoring double. 5th RBI of March. 4-4, 7 hits apiece already into the bottom of the second inning.
It's a spring game. This is typical of what you see. Lots of hits, lots of guys on base.
And Walker does not give in 2-0. That misses. It's 3-0. People who are around the Mariners just sing the praises of Taijuan Walker. A real sharp kid. Very likable young man. 23. And that's a strike. They say he may be the best athlete on the Mariners. There's a big YouTube video of him dunking in high school. And
you and I would not know what that's like.
No, nothing. Nothing about such a thing. High fly ball left field. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Nolan.
Well, he's 0 for 1, Drew, and he's hitting 600. I think statistically it's got to be a hit.
It's hard to maintain that 605 average. So if he does get a hit here, his average
still goes down.
Still goes down.
Yeah.
I guess it'd go up, but
right.
You know what I mean.
He's got to get 2 a game, basically. No. What I've been impressed with Nolan and his growth is really pitch recognition. He's gotten much better. When he first got to the big leagues 3 years ago, he was a little bit of a free swinger, and I think he would tell you that. And he's really started working on pitch identification early and just hunting that fastball.
Mariners do not overload the left side. No one's seen that shift already a fair amount this spring, and he says, I'm just going to take my swings. I'm not going to worry about where guys line up. And I think that's probably the smartest approach, especially for a guy who hits it over the wall.
I see both sides of it. Obviously, I was never a guy where they were going to shift on maybe the left side of the infield for me. But, I've always wondered why when you see a shift as a hitter, even as a power hitter, why you don't just move up in the box a little bit, cut down on the angle. It'll just open up the opposite side of the field just a little bit more. You don't have to do it every time, but you can pick your spots.
If you're a slugger, you got to be smart about it too. For instance, Cargo will drop a bunt down every once in a while. If there's 2 outs and nobody on, you don't want him doing that.
Nope.
Because you hope he hits a 2-out home run.
Exactly.
Now, if he's leading off the inning or that sort of thing, and you're down a run, you know, maybe it's not a bad play.
Yeah.
Every once in a while.
Oh boy.
Good block behind the plate by Clevenger. 3-2. Clevenger reminding the infield to go to first because the runners will be off. Gerardo Parra on deck. 3 hits and a run for the Rockies here in the second to tie it at 4. 3-2 on Arenado. And he got him with a slider. 4-4 as we go to the third. And you come out to the ballpark and you hope to get one of these. I hate when that happens. Can you imagine you leave your batting helmet up there in the desert somewhere and then you got nothing to wear the next day?
It's tough to go get it.
4-4, an injury update on John Gray, who had to leave the ball game a couple of days ago. They did an arm MRI, and he has a strain in the abdominal area. There is no exact timetable. You and I talked to Walt about that injury before the ball game. Cargo can't see it, and it's off the wall, or maybe he did, and he's trying to deke Nelson Cruz, and he nearly threw him out. So a leadoff double by Cruz. Just to finish the thought on John Gray. So he's going to be shut down for a while. Obviously won't be ready for the start of the season. It's one of those injuries that you have to be careful with because it may start feeling better, but you don't want to re-injure it. And the problem with pitchers is you always have to double the amount of time, because then you have to build their arm back up.
Yeah, and there's no such thing as good news when it involves an injury, really, but it's good news that it wasn't an oblique involved, as Walt said. It's just a strain. They just got to be patient, and hopefully John Gray will be back in under a month. It's one of those things, though, that he's going to have to rebuild that arm strength, as you mentioned. So my sights are probably right around the 4-week mark. It could be less, which is a good thing.
I would say that if he is back in 4 weeks, it went as well as could possibly be expected, because again, once you're down, if you're down for 2 weeks, it's going to take at least that amount of time to build the arm strength back up, the pitch count back up, etc.
I think that 2-week mark, which is right around opening day, they'll know, because that's about when they would send him out to start lengthening, or he'll stay down here in Arizona, obviously, and he'll start working again to go out on a rehab for possibly, I would say, 2 starts. That's about what he'll miss, maybe 3, to be ready.
2 strikes on the catcher, Steve Clevenger. And he kind of tomahawks this ball into left, and Parra slides over. How about the 2 arms you have in the corners now? Charlie can throw also, but with the addition of Parra to go with Cargo,
you've got 2+ arms in the corners. Really, you've got 3 center fielders out there. And Coors Field's obviously an enormous outfield, so I'd say you've got it pretty well covered. Basically, I talked a lot about Charlie and how he was unfortunate to not win a Gold Glove a couple years ago because he bounced around, and unfortunately when you do that, you can't. But these guys have absolute cannons out there. I expect them to make quite a few putouts from the outfield.
Trevor Story handles that ground ball by Romero. 2 outs. Dae-Ho Lee with 2 outs, and Nelson Cruz still at second base. And the slider bounces. 2-0. Case this inning continues on longer than Steve Foster or Walt Weiss would like. Brock Hunsinger is throwing. And topspin ground ball to Story, and he'll throw out Dae-Ho Lee. So a nice job by Tyler Chatwood after the leadoff double by Cruz, getting Clevenger, Romero, and Lee. We're tied at 4 as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Salt River Fields on a beautiful Thursday afternoon.
Style Ryan Spilborghs. It's a tie game as we go bottom 3. What do you got, Spilly?
Well, I think with Gerardo Parra coming up next inning, it'd be a great opportunity for us to listen and see what the guys think about the signing this offseason about Gerardo Parra. All fans on opening day, April 8th, will receive a 2016 Rockies magnet schedule, courtesy of King Supers. So, Drew, Corey, I know this offseason you get Gerardo Parra signs a 3-year deal. They talk about how good of an outfielder he is. I want you guys to mention and just talk about how good this defensive outfield the Rockies are going to have.
Well, I think back to when you two guys were members of that 07 World Series team, and at the time it set the major league record for fielding percentage. And with all due respect to you, Spilly, and you, Corey, you guys were good defenders. This team on paper should be even better than that team. Would you agree?
I definitely would. I think, you know, you take a look at the moves that Jeff Bridich made with trading Corey Dickerson and bringing in Gerardo Parra. That was a focal point, was he was going to stress outfield defense and the importance of it in a place like Coors Field. And Gerardo Parra, as a Gold Glover, he can cover just as much ground as anybody else in the game. He could play center field. But, you know, it's not just that. It's these three guys it's going to be fun to watch because they all can make really dynamic plays out there. And watching them work as a unit, that's the real importance of an outfield, is they've got to learn each other, the ground they can cover, where they're positioned, because with shifting going on these days, they've just got to adapt to that a little bit.
And again, the bonus of having big arms in the outfield and having to cover the cavernous outfield of Coors Field. And then you talk about an infield as DJ fouls this off. Nolan's at third. We'll leave it at that. DJ's at second. We'll leave that where it is, and you can draw your own conclusions. And Trevor Story, I think, listen, will there be some big league growing pains? Probably. He's playing a premier spot. But he's more than capable of being an above-average defender. And I thought Ben Paulson was very solid last year, probably better than most people thought when he came to the big leagues to play first base. And Nick Hundley's always been solid defensively. So this club defensively, they have to throw more strikes. That's the bottom line. You can't defend against the walk. You'd like to see the strikeout total rise. That ratio, strikeouts to walks, is one that I always pay attention to, and I know Spilly does, and I know it's something you pay attention to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it all starts with strike one from the pitching standpoint, but defensively, I think Ben Paulson's one of the most underrated players in the game. I think especially at first base, he's got great range over there. And as far as Trevor Story goes, guess what? Nolan can probably cover most of shortstop if he needs to. But I think you're going to just see an outstanding defensive game from the Colorado Rockies this year.
The old line, if you play pitch and catch pretty well, you're going to win a lot.
I'm a big believer in pitching and defense wins championships. I've always thought it, and I think in 07 that rang true.
One out as LeMahieu battles away. First time up, he lined a base hit to right for an RBI.
You know, I talked about him barreling the ball, even the foul balls, all three of them right there. I mean, he's battling, he's seen a few different pitches, but he's still barreling the baseball. It does look like he swings a telephone pole, though.
He lets the ball get deeper more comfortably than anybody you will see. That ball's just foul. You know what I mean by that, too.
Yep.
A lot of times that's uncomfortable for a hitter, isn't it?
It is. You know, I like to drive the ball the other way as well, and I like to get the ball, let the ball get deep. But there's a point in that where it's definitely not comfortable. But DJ, he knows what he's good at, and he continues to just execute. That's one of those things. It's a different thing to know what you can do and not execute. But he does such a great job executing, letting the ball get deep.
On two hops, cut off by the third baseman O'Malley. Two gone. Chatwood's work will be done after 3 innings, apparently, as Johan Flande is now getting prepared to go out there in the Rockies bullpen. Flande, guy we've seen up and down the last couple of years, that provides the Rockies rotation depth and also can be a swing guy like a Christian Bergman, like a Chris Russin.
He did a great job in that role 2 years ago when he first got to the big leagues. That's such a difficult role because Benny hammers one down the right field line foul. But you never know which role you're going to be in on a given day. It's like a bench player. You know, you got to be ready for all roles, and he did a great job wearing it 2 years ago.
1-1 on Paulson, and the breaking ball caught the top portion of the strike zone. It's 1-2.
We're starting to see Taijuan Walker to settle in on the mound. He struggled a little bit with his command the first couple innings, but now he's definitely been able to pound the strike zone with all his pitches.
And he gets a strikeout on a fastball. So his initial 1-2-3 inning of the ball game. We go to the fourth. The Rockies 4 and the Mariners 4. Sunshine galore. It's the biggest idea ever from Taco Bell. The new quesalupa, melty pepper jack cheese. Pay attention, Sully. Melty pepper jack cheese stuffed inside the shell, only at Taco Bell. I know where you're going after.
Absolutely. That's one of my favorite places to eat. You know that.
I do know that.
Pizza Hut.
Kept you in the big leagues for a number of years.
Yes.
With Corey Sullivan, I'm Drew Goodman. Mark Stout and Ryan Spilborg's back in our Denver studios. They got snowed in a little bit. We'll be back down this way this weekend. Johan Flande to the mound. It'll be 8-9-1 on the top of the fourth for Seattle. You need guys like this. You need guys that in an emergency can make a start for you. Things get out of whack for a starter on a given day, can come in and give you 3-4 innings, and hopefully the offense has an opportunity to get back in the ball game. The bridge guys are unheralded oftentimes, but much needed.
Absolutely, especially in the length of a major league season. You get weather, you get rainouts. You never know you're going to miss a start, so you're going to have spot starters. You're going to have a guy pitching out of the pen when a guy only makes it an inning and a third. And Johan, it's so difficult to adapt to that role, but he wears it so comfortably. It's very impressive.
Flande working to Chris Taylor, who singled his first time up. And he fouls this off 1-1. Flande last year started the year at New Britain, went 5-0 with a 1.36 ERA in 6 starts. Got elevated to Albuquerque. He's 3-3 in Albuquerque. In the big leagues, he was 3-3 with a 4.74 for the Rockies. 19 games, 10 starts. It's high, 3-1.
It's also impressive that in 2014 he split time between Colorado Springs and the big leagues in Colorado, the majority of it being in Colorado. And then you ask that guy to go back to Double-A, and you know, he goes down there and he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder about it. He says okay. He goes down there and goes 5-0 with a 1.5. That's impressive.
And he walks Chris Taylor to begin the 4th inning. If you wonder why Tyler Chatwood's still throwing, this happens in the spring. If he didn't quite hit his pitch count, but they didn't want him to throw anymore in the middle, you know, in the ball game where he was still, you know, 12, 15 pitches short, they'll have him finish it up as he's doing there in the bullpen. You know, not the greatest outing, obviously. He gave up 4 runs. There were 3 errors behind him. The pitch count, he was in hitters counts too frequently, spraying the fastball a little bit.
Yeah, again, it starts with that first pitch of each bat. You got to get ahead. It's been the, you know, what the Rockies have really worked on with their pitching staff. He just struggled a little bit with his location and the repeatability of his mechanics. Those are growing pains that you're going to have when a guy's coming off surgery.
Again, a couple of years since he's been on a big league diamond. 1-0 on Daniel Robertson at the plate.
You ready?
Rockies Double-A affiliate, brand new stadium, and they've moved into downtown Hartford. Runner going, and it's a bouncer over the head of Arenado into that left field corner. And with the runner moving, Taylor's going to score easily. And Robertson's hunting a triple, and he's got a 3-bagger relatively easily. And it's 5-4 Seattle.
That was one of those Arizona choppers when it's a lot of sun out here, dries out the infield. Robertson tried to stay on top of the ball as he saw the guy running. And, you know, it's just one of those that gets over Nolan's head because the infield grass and ground is so hard and it finds the hole down the left field line and able to get a triple out of it.
Well, you played in both the Cactus League and the Grapefruit League in your career. the averages are typically much higher in the Cactus League than they are the Grapefruit League.
That they are. The air's a little heavier out there, a little more humidity. You get some rainouts there. That's a difference that you don't get here. But really, it's just such beautiful weather that it's tough to keep the infield from being so fast.
Which did you prefer? Training where you're sweating all the time in Florida or here in the dry heat?
Arizona, all day, every day.
You make a good point. People who just come down here may not realize there are a fair number of rainouts in the spring. And this ball is punched to left center field, a base hit. And O'Malley's going to hunt a double. Here's the throw by Parra, and it gets past DJ, who's trying to apply the blind tag. So it'll be a run-scoring double for O'Malley. 2 runs in the inning, nobody out. 6-4 Seattle.
And I think Johan's just a little bit rattled after the triple by Robertson. Left ball a little bit out over the plate. You got to tip your cap to O'Malley, who did a good job with the runner on third base and was able to just put it in play for the RBI or double.
Seth Smith 1 for 2, a 2-run double in the second. He hit it off the very top of the center field wall against Tyler Chatwood. Smith doesn't see a ton of lefties during the regular season. He's usually given the day off when it's a left-handed starter. He'll DH, play a little outfield. Cruz is kind of in that same situation. Cruz will DH, play a little outfield. So Franklin Gutierrez is not partaking today. And there's a base hit to right down that line. Cargo's got a long run. And Smith will lope into second. 3 runs in the inning. 7-4 Mariners. Triple double after the initial walk by Taylor. So the Rockies have not pitched well in this game, to say the least.
No, it sounded like you were ordering it in and out right there. Yeah, Seth, he's just such a good hitter. You know, you talk about him not being able to face lefties very frequently, but he does a good job there getting a fastball in that kind of ran back in over the inside part of the plate. He pulls his hands in and just flips it into right field.
If Steve Foster was planning on getting in a post-game cardio session, he's getting some of it out of the way here early in this game. That is his 3rd trip. And Steve, you got 4 seconds to get to the dugout. Go.
Is the rule across the line, or is it into the dugout?
No, I think the meeting's got to break up.
Okay.
Smith at second, Robinson Cano 1 for 2. He had a second inning single. 11 hits in 3+ innings for the Mariners. Fastball for a strike. So here's your trivia question. You mentioned that New Britain this year in the Eastern League is now Hartford. What's the nickname of the Rockies AA affiliate?
The Yard Goats.
So you did your studying. The Yard Goats. We have to get hats for every man a Yard Goat.
Truth be told, the only reason I know that is because Spilly went down to AA last year to talk with David Dahl after his injury, and he mentioned in that they were moving, and that's the only reason I remember it.
It's got to be one of the great names in minor league baseball, the Yard Goats.
I appreciate you taking it easy on me.
Spill, you know what? We have a guy there that can take care of us. The guy's old buddy Jeff Salazar is the hitting coach.
Yep.
Sally, we need 12 Yard Goat hats.
Absolutely. He's out on field 7 right now.
You want to run in the commercial break?
I can't. I'm not that fast.
Strike 3 on Cano. So Flande gets the first out of the 4th inning by striking out Robinson Cano.
Johan does a really good job locating his fastball away there. I'd say that was probably a 4-seamer. Ball didn't run, had a little bit of a sink on it, but just nothing Robbie can do when he locates the ball that well.
Nelson Cruz 2 for 2, a single and a double. Garneau with not an easy block.
He does a great job shifting his weight over. I think he might have gotten crossed up after they have the conversation, because if you watch Garneau's glove there in the replay, he was keeping it square until real late, and then he realized it was a breaking ball and turned it over and slid with it. That means he did a really good job of adapting to the pitch, especially because he got crossed up.
And Cruz takes a strike. 44 home runs last year for Nelson Cruz.
We were talking before the game about carrying mass into impact. He's one of those guys that does a great job using his entire body to drive the baseball.
And he's got a lot of mass to put into the baseball.
He does.
And this is deep short. Story from his knees. Arm straight out at first base. What a play by Trevor Story. Well, if you're wondering about his defense, there's a little bit of an answer for you.
Looked like he stumbled a little bit right before he made the dive, but wow, does he have a cannon, getting up on his knees and just delivering a strike to first base and Ben Paulson.
That is one heck of a play.
Each day in spring training, each game, he checks another box.
Yes, he does.
He does.
Here's Clevenger, the catcher. He's 1 for 2. That's what baseball's changed so much. Guys so much bigger and stronger. Shortstop, 30, 40 years ago, they were 5'11", 165-pound guys.
Don't talk about Jeff Houston like that.
Yeah, well, Huey was 6'4" and about 180 pounds. But right, that it was make all the plays and make sure you get guys over and hit 245, that sort of thing. Now you got these monsters playing shortstop. I mean, again, Story's 6'2", 6'2 and a half, 212 pounds.
The game is evolving, that is for sure.
1-1 on Clevenger. And a good fastball on the outer edge, 1-2. Slider misses, 2-2. Love when hitters talk to him on a take. Look at Clevenger angry with himself. It was a take.
But he flinched. I mean, that means I almost bid on that pitch. How can I do that?
Yeah.
Right? I had a real big problem. We were talking about pitch identification, and Nolan right there. I would almost bet Clevenger was expecting a slider, and he threw it, and he flinched because he recognized it. That was honestly, that was my biggest problem. Was once I recognized the pitch, my thought process ended, and it was like, oh, he threw what I thought. Swing.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't
exactly.
A strike. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where it was.
3-2. Ground ball up the middle, base hit. Now around third, Seth Smith will score. And it's the 4th run against Flande here in the 4th. It's 8-4 Seattle. Second hit of the day for Steve Clevenger, and now Stephen Romero will come up. "12 hits for the Mariners." Rockies and Mariners met a couple weeks ago with the Rockies winning 6-4 in Peoria. 2-strike count on Stephen Romero. Outside, 27-year-old had 21 at-bats with the big league club last year. Romero's one of 2 Oregon State products in their lineup today. That's a tough play for everybody but Nolan Arenado. Man, what a play by Nolan to end the inning. But 8 men came to the plate. 4 would score for Seattle. They're up 8-4.
Welcome back to Salt River Fields, where the Rockies trail the Mariners 7-4. Rockies fans, got your tickets? Mini plans start at just 10 games and $120. Opening day is included in the 20 and 25 game plans. Buy your plan now. Drew, you'll be there.
I will be there. I will be there. We just got some information from our studio analyst, one Ryan Spielborgs. Because of a delay in construction in Hartford, it's going to be an awful long road trip for the Yard Goats initially.
51 games on the road to start the season.
That's a long roadie.
That is a long roadie living out of a suitcase. That is not going to be fun.
Inside out swing, Dustin Garneau in right field, his second hit, single and a double for Garneau. That'll bring up Johan Flande, which means that you get a lot of home games after that.
Yeah, well, hopefully we don't know, but again, that'd be a nice little stretch if you can string together 51 home games too in the 144 game season now?
Yeah. And Flande bunts this almost into no man's land. Nicely done by Flande. Garneau to second base on the sac bunt. Charlie Blackmon's had a nice day. We say that frequently. Double and a single and an RBI for Chuck Nasty. The outside corner, a strike on Blackmon. And Taijuan Walker has this one pulled foul.
That's an interesting situation there, though. That's where that being down a man on the umpiring crew, that becomes Alfonso Marquez's call at home plate, and it could have been one that he might have missed.
Mike DeMuro and Adam Hamari are the base umpires. Let's see. Tough to tell on that angle. It looked like it was foul. No argument from Charlie. One, two on Blackman. Out of play. You know, we haven't talked about, and I wanted to make mention of, almost an under the radar move that the Rockies made once camp was underway, Sully, for a real good veteran player, a pro's pro, Ryan Rayburn, picked up by the Rockies.
A very quality signing. We talked with Walt a little bit about it before the game, and he mentioned how well he's done against left-handed hitters, and that's been an area where the Rockies have really struggled in the past few years. And he's got an OPS over 1,000 in those 3 seasons. He's done pretty well.
That really gets your attention.
It does.
And again, the Rockies are going to see a number of lefties. They struggled big time against lefty starters last year. And inside this division, it always begins with Clayton Kershaw and a guy named Madison Bumgarner. But you know, across the way in Arizona's complex, you got Patrick Corbin, who is
coming back off the Tommy John and was really good at the end of the year last year.
Yeah. The Dodgers, in addition to Kershaw, are going to have a number of others lefties. This is down the right field line. Stay fair, just foul.
It's 92 degrees that the field is, right? It's 92 degrees from home plate. Probably would have been a fair ball.
It would have been a fair ball.
Yeah, again, we talked about it too with Ryan Rayburn. He doesn't just hit well against lefties either. He hits well against righties. The last time the Rockies played the Mariners, he was facing King Felix. He had a couple knocks against him. He's just a veteran guy that you love having on your team and in your organization to help you in certain situations.
Well, and in terms of their everyday lineup, Parr's a left-handed hitter, Blackman's a left-handed hitter, Cargo's a left-handed hitter.
Mm-hmm. He brings a little bit different dynamic too than Brandon Barnes. Brandon's he's the kind of guy who plays all out every day. He's an incredible defender, and you got Ryan Rayburn, who's got 82 career home runs. A little bit different. You like having that thump coming off the bench.
Sure. We always point this out this time of year, and managers in all 30 spring training sites will point it out. The media focuses so much on the 25 guys that will break camp and head north. But it's going to take 35 to 40 guys to finish a season, maybe even more than that.
I mean, we talked about 2 years ago, the Rockies used 14 different starters. That's basically down to their Double-A team.
Yeah.
So it does take a village.
Right. So even if you don't break camp, that doesn't mean that you're not going to impact the club and may do so, pretty early on.
Yeah.
Trevor Story took a strike, 2 on, 1 out, runners going, and it's yanked foul.
I think Trevor would like to have that swing back. I think those guys had pretty good jumps out there on stolen base too.
So that's run and hit as opposed to hit and run.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if it was a hit and run with guys on first and second down. I know in spring training you don't typically look at the scoreboard and consider that, but I mean, I felt like they had a rolling jump. Like Taiwan wasn't even paying attention to him out there.
Garneau at second, Blackman at first. One and 2 on Story. Double to right, single to right. He has an RBI. He has scored a run. Signed right out of high school. Had he gone to college, Trevor was going to go to LSU. Texas kid asked him about UT. He said they didn't recruit me.
I like it. Go to a rival then.
Good eye. He's got some of Tulo's mannerisms a little bit on his takes. You ever notice that?
Yeah, the same little front arm swing.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that. Right there when you saw him with his bat, that was a big thing Tulo would do, is he would hold it out in front like that.
Yep. They worked out together in the past and some off seasons.
Not a bad mentor to have.
No. Two on, one out. 3 and 2 on Story. Cargo on deck. And he got him with a fastball up and away. 2 outs. Got to figure this would be all for Taijuan Walker. He'll be above 80 pitches. Cargo rifled a double to right center to drive in a run in the first, and hit a high fly ball to left in the second. 8 for Seattle, 12 hits for Seattle, 8 for the Rockies. And Cargo goes the other way, fair ball. Garneau will score. It hits off the side wall. Blackman's going to come home, and the throw to the plate's cut off. It's a 2-run double the other way for Cargo, and it's 8-6.
Nice to see. He might have caught that one off the end of the bat, but it definitely looked like he had intent to try and go the other way, which is a good thing to see when you got the shift on, obviously, and a great result getting a 2 RBI double. Caught that one definitely a little bit off the end of the bat, but you could see a little bit outside. He does a great job staying through the ball, keeping that front side closed and those hands back, driving the ball to the opposite field.
So right at, what did we say, about 80 pitches, Taijuan Walker is dismissed. And with Nolan Arenado coming up, we'll give you the pitching change when we come back. Seattle leading 8-6 in the 4th inning. Cargo punches a double the other way to drive in 2. It's 8-6, 2 outs in the 4th inning. Nolan Arenado coming up, and Don Roach, who's had some big league time in both leagues, will try to get the final out of the 4th inning for Seattle. Drew Goodman, Corey Sullivan, Mark Stout, Ryan Spilborg's back in our Denver studios, snowbound. So Nolan is in a horrendous slump. He brought a .605 average into the ball game. He's 0 for 2. Fly ball center field and a strikeout.
I think they might send him down. I'm a little worried for him.
Well, Maybe you can cheer him up after the game. And the sinker is bounced to third. One pitch, and Roach gets Seattle off the field. Rockies get a couple of runs on the double by Gonzalez. And as we go to the 5th inning, it's Seattle 8 and the Rockies 6. Cargo's got 3 ribbies today. The Rockies down 2 as we go to the 5th inning. Drew Goodman, Corey Sullivan, Johan Flande, 2nd inning of work, hoping for a much better second frame than first frame. He gave up 4 runs on 4 hits last inning. And the first pitch to Dae-Ho Lee is in there for a strike. Oh, and 2. Lee's gone quickly. One out, Chris Taylor will come up. Taylor playing shortstop today. Ketel Marte will be the starting shortstop for Seattle. They made a number of moves. We were alluding to it earlier. Another guy that was scheduled to play today, but he's battling the flu. They have a new center fielder, the former Ranger, Leonis Martin.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that he has the flu. Hope he gets better quickly. It's another one of those guys I'm sure Jerry DiPoto has been working to try and find a way to get.
Their defense was not good a year ago.
No.
Martin is a strong defender. Mel Stottlemyre Jr. Third from the left or the second from the right, whichever you prefer.
I appreciate being left-handed that you went from the left.
I did that just for you.
I appreciate that. We get overlooked quite a bit.
Except if you could pitch and you're breathing.
Yes.
Down low, 3-2. Robertson on deck. Ground ball to Nolan. Stayed down on it. High throw, and on the tag, no! Put on the bag, according to Adam Hamari. I think that's Adam over there. That'll be an error on Arenado.
Really, and I think Nolan just rushed the throw a little bit, got underneath it. Taylor put the pressure on him coming out of the box as fast as he did. Watching the replay, I think Paulie got the tag on him, maybe on his left arm, a little bit before he touched first base.
4 errors on the Rockies. Talking about Stephen Romero being a product of Oregon State, and said there were 2 in the lineup. Daniel Robertson, another guy who played for the Beavers. They won back-to-back national championships a few years ago. The program up in Corvallis. No, Colorado product who signed with the Rockies was a 5th-round pick, Max George, had signed a national letter of intent to go to Oregon State before signing after the draft with the Rockies. Max beginning his 3rd year of pro ball, former Regis standout. 2-0 on Robertson. Bounced a triple down the 3rd base line his last time up. Flande again checking on Chris Taylor. You know, Scott Service in their dugout now, they've used 6 different managers in the last decade. Lloyd McClendon was let go when Jerry DiPoto took over.
It's tough to get comfortable as a player when you're in that scenario.
How much interaction, I guess it's different manager to manager, how much interaction once the season gets going day to day is there between a position player, let's say, and their skipper?
Really, it depends on how you're playing. If you're playing well, there's really not much. Other than, you know, the typical how you doing, things like that. How's the family? It's really between the bench coach and the players typically. But when you're playing poorly, you can feel the impact because you're going to have team meetings. You're going to work on things. You're going to, if you're struggling, whether it's defensively, you're going to have early work, and you're going to have those conversations.
2 outs. Taylor at first. Sean O'Malley. Walk, strikeout, and an RBI double for O'Malley. And trying to make the club. He's a super utility guy. Probably his best position defensively, 2nd. He's playing 3rd today. He's had a big spring. He's hitting close to 500 this spring. Switch hitter. Can run him out in the outfield also. Takes a strike. Got 42 at bats with the Mariners last year. He's playing 3rd base today. Of course, Kyle Seager, when the season starts, will be the everyday 3rd baseman for Seattle. Be overshadowed by his little brother down in LA. Kyle's a really good player too, but Corey Seager, I think in most circles, still, even though he's got a lot of big league time now, the #1 prospect in baseball.
He did quite quite an impressive job with the Dodgers down the stretch last year.
Slow heartbeat, right?
Yep.
They're great tools. There's another, we were talking about how big and impressive Trevor Story is. Seager not as strong yet. On the dirt ball, trying to move up and getting in there is Chris Taylor. But Seager not physically yet as strong as Story, but you couple the bat speed, the 6'4" frame. He's going to be another big shortstop with a lot of thump in his bat.
I was really impressed stepping into that organization down the stretch when they're in a playoff run and not missing a beat and supplanting Jimmy Rollins.
Strike 3. So Flande ends up striking out the inning, or striking out the side in the inning. And we'll go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Mariners 8 and the Rockies 6 from beautiful Scottsdale.
Steel for people everywhere who refuse to compromise. Find yours at steeldealers.com. And by Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Back in Denver in the Root Sports Studios, Mark Stout, Ryan Spielborgs. Inevitably, we are going to talk about Trevor Story and compare him to Troy Tulowitzki. He made a play earlier in the game that was Tulo-esque. You were there when Tulo was coming up, say, 2062. What do you think? Resemblance?
There's a lot. I mean, physically they look the same, but to me it's just kind of how they're carrying themselves. I think Tulo, after 2006, he had that cup of coffee, came back in 2007, changed his number, stole it from Mike Gallego. He was number 2. And then he was starting to play the game with some confidence. And that's what you want to see. Obviously, with Trevor Story, there's a lot more behind it because you still have the Jose Reyes deal. But as far as what he's done, Corey, you've already mentioned it. He's checked off every single box. So now it's just going out there and getting that opportunity.
Let's go back to Drew and Corey down in Scottsdale, guys.
He has checked off, as Corey said, and you just heard Spilly mention again, he has checked off every box this spring. Here's Gerardo Parra. And Parra takes a strike. Parra 0 for 2, fly ball to left field, and a ground ball to first. Rockies trailing by a couple as they hit in the bottom of the 5th inning. Talking about pitchers working up 75, 80 pitches. Chatwood finished his session in the bullpen. Taijuan Walker gone after 80 pitches. It's the time of year also where hitters will get 3, maybe even 4 at bats in a game. As another basically 10 days of spring training.
It's starting to lengthen them out. You know, early on in spring training, you get maybe 3, 4 innings, try and get 2 at bats, and now we're in that phase where you're going to see guys starting to play every day, or starting to play every inning of a game in spring training. It's nice to get in that rhythm. It's a little different. I always talk about how there's a lot of day games in spring training, and obviously we'd like to have the opportunity to get a few more night games in. Once the season starts, that's the way it goes.
This is slowly hit to second, and the glove flipped from the creative Robbie Cano, who plays second as if he is a member of the Harlem Globetrotters. He can flat pick.
Yeah, he's a magician, and sometimes he creates plays that you didn't even know were possible. I think he shares that with Nolan Arenado, but that's just one of those, that's textbook for him. It's easy, he's used to it, and it's an everyday play, I would say.
And you know this, having played forever, even though you were an outfielder. You have to practice that a little bit with a firm wrist and in the right pocket in the glove. as opposed to, I mean, if that thing's in the webbing, it's not going to flip as you'd like.
Yeah, you definitely have to practice it. But the thing I always talk about, especially with guys like Robbie or with Nolan, is they have to anticipate those plays. They actually have they roll through a thing that I like to call pre-pitch preparation, where if this happens, what am I going to do? And that reflects in how they're able to make it look so easy.
Two strikes on LeMahieu, one of the most gifted players in the game. Robinson, Cano on both sides of the ball. And Cano will get another opportunity here. Backpedaling unless he gets called off, and he does, by Daniel Robertson.
That's one of those plays as a center fielder. It is just scary because you're always taught as an infielder, keep your back to the ball and you don't say anything, you wave. And if you watch, that's Robbie's trying to make an effort to keep his back to the ball, and he's just waiting to listen for the center fielder to call him off. Typically, you want the second baseman to stop, because once he stops, he knows he's hurt you. But Robbie keeps backpedaling, and that got close to a collision right there.
Ben Paulson, 2 outs against Don Roach, and Paulson slashes at that one and fouls it off. That is a scary situation, isn't it?
It really is when there's 3 people involved, because when there's typically a lot of noise in the stadium, you're taught to call the ball. You might call it at the same time as the other outfielder. There's just nothing comfortable about it. For me, I always tried to call it as early as possible so that it could avoid a situation like that. The only time I've ever had a collision in my life was in 2002, actually. It was in spring training with Matt Holliday. He was playing left field, I was playing center field, and that game, same kind of thing happened. And as you can imagine, back then, I was 155, 160 pounds, and Matt was always 220. It didn't end well for me.
I was going to say, dude, that's not a guy you want to be colliding into it. And he was 220 then. He's about 245 now.
Yeah. That actually forged our friendship. We became pretty good friends after that.
Kind of dented your friendship,
yep.
didn't it? Maybe it dented the body, but forged your friendship.
Yep.
Something along those lines.
Something along those lines.
Yeah. Somebody asked me the other day, said, who do you think's the strongest guy in baseball? And there's a lot of this is a league of big, strong men. Matt Holliday will always be on that list, somewhere near the top.
Absolutely. They used to test grip strength, and he was the only guy to ever get 100 on it.
Diving into the rice with a hand. I remember that. Yep. 8-6 Seattle. We'll go to the 6th. Typical of Arizona, not a cloud in the sky. 8-6, the Mariners leading the Rockies with Corey Sullivan. I'm Drew Goodman. We go down to the dugout. The familiar face, the smiling one, Carlos Gonzalez. Cargo, how you doing, man?
Good, man. How about you guys?
We're doing well. Not as well as you. Big day today. A couple of doubles. Went the other way. Maybe off the end of the bat last time. But you feel comfortable at the plate right now?
Yeah, I mean, even my spring training numbers are not that great. I feel good at the plate. I'm seeing the ball well. I hit the ball hard. couple times, and that's what you're looking for in spring training. You just want to feel good at the plate, see pitches, not worry about the results, just having that feeling again, and to get back and get ready for the season.
Yeah, we talk a lot about what guys are working on in spring training, and you don't really worry about their numbers, and you were talking about your numbers there. Is there anything specifically you're trying to work on coming into the season?
Well, like I said, just concentrate on hitting the ball hard, trying to save the pitches, and obviously you stop for about 4 months, and it's just really hard when you jump on the field again, and you have to step on the plate, and you're seeing 95 with movement and different kind of pitchers. So I think that's what the spring training is. Just feel comfortable at the plate, try to get used to the grind again, and just make sure that your body feels 100% when they say play ball the first game.
Speaking of body feeling 100%, last year, slow start the first couple of months, and then you were as good as anybody in the game the last 4 months. And you talked about the knee. I think you're okay.
Yeah.
Paul's shot it. Yeah, there you go. You were talking about the knee. Is that even a thought anymore now that you're further removed from the knee injury of a year and a half ago?
Yeah, it's totally different. Last year, in 2014, I had a major surgery, and just recovering and having my doubts, and going into 2015, I felt like I was ready, but at the same time, I was a little lost. I was a little scared to just play the game, and the more I played last year, the better I felt, and I think that's a major key for everybody. For a baseball player, you just got to be out there every day, just go through ups and downs, and always keep your head up, and that's what I did last year. I continued to work even when I was going really bad, and I knew at some point everything was going to get together, and that's what happened.
Drew mentioned you going the other way there, and obviously you see the shift all the time. Is that something you're a little bit more conscious of, trying to go the other way, especially in situations like that?
Well, to be honest, I'm just trying to hit the ball hard. I don't really think about where they're playing me, because there's nothing I can do. I'm just seeing the ball. If it's away, I'm just going to try to go the other way. But if sometimes we get caught in the middle of trying to go the other way, and they're pitching you inside, and you're not hitting the ball hard enough. So for me, if they pitch you inside, it doesn't matter if everybody's on the right side. If you hit it hard, it goes to the same. Nothing they can do about it. So that's my mentality. I always try to hit the ball hard.
What has impressed you the most, Cargo, about Trevor's story?
Well, he's a true professional. The kid is he's working really hard since day one. He wants to be with us. I think that's what you want from your teammates. When they want to play next to you, he's a quiet guy. He asks whenever he needs some help, and for me, I'm just trying to make him feel comfortable around us. So far, he's been great, and hopefully he can be the player that everybody expects. He's a high prospect, and he can be an all-around player. We're talking about a guy who is a potential all-star. So that's what we're trying to make him feel. Just go out there and compete every day, and whenever you get the opportunity, just take advantage.
And we talked a little bit about Gerardo Parra during the broadcast. I know he's a good buddy of yours, and obviously it changes the dynamic of the defense in the outfield. Do you consider you guys to be in a little bit of a competition to push each other to see who can throw out more guys or anything like that?
Well, it's always fun to play with great players, and Gerardo is one of those guys. We have a lot of history of playing together. When we were young, we grew up in the Diamondback system, and we played winter ball for 5 years, and we learn from each other, and we push ourselves. So it's fun to have guys like him on our team, and just to make this team better. And as an outfielder, you always want to help the pitchers, and that's what we've been working on since day one.
Cargo, last one. We'll let you get showered up. What gives you the greatest amount of optimism as you look forward to the start of 2016, about 10 days away?
Well, I think it's just being around all these guys. We compete every day. We're gonna be together for a long time, so that gets you excited. I'm hoping for a big year from all my teammates, and they always push me to be a better player. So we all family, and we're really excited to be in Arizona and Chase Field for Game 1, and hopefully we can make it special for all the fans and for our team.
Very well said, Cargo. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Right,
take care, bud. Carlos Gonzalez again, a couple of doubles today. He drove in 3 as his afternoon is complete. Nelson Cruz with 1 out, and Robbie Cano, who just walked at first base. You talk about the guy that's become a consummate pro. There's strike 3 on Cruz. Boone Logan strikes him out. It's Cargo. Everybody loves him as a teammate because he's the same personality. You played with a ton of different guys. When you have that guy who can have the same personality, whether he's 0 for 12 or 6 for his last 12, you really got to appreciate that kind of play.
It's important, and it's really important to a guy like Trevor Story who can see and learn from that this game isn't everything. You know, there are other aspects of life, and you go out, you have fun, you play the game, and you play the game the right way, and I think that's exactly what Cargo does.
2 out, Steve Clevenger at the plate. The starting catcher for Seattle will be a guy Rockies fans remember well, Chris Iannetta, who just signed in the offseason when Jerry Dipoto was running the Angels. When Chris became a free agent, he grabbed him. Thanks again to Carlos Gonzalez. Good solid inning for Boone Logan. 8-6, middle of 6. Seattle. One of the great things about spring training is the proximity that the fans have to the players. So Cargo's done. He's walking down the right field line toward the Rockies clubhouse. And on the way, he's going to make the day of a number of young fans.
I think it's pretty unique too that you get the opportunity because the players have to walk past the fans to get into the clubhouse.
Right, and Robbie Cano, his day is done also, and there is a team bus, folks. But for guys like Cano and really anybody, they're going to drive their own car, so they don't have to wait around. Right. So, and it's the only thing. It's so funny because you flash back to Little League days or travel ball days, and you'll see guys, down here, there's so many tournaments going on. You'll see. This is in the air from Garneau to right center field. You'll see teams in and out, and everybody's in their full uni. Well, Robbie Cano right now get on the 101, and if you pass him, he's going to be in his Mariners uniform like he's 12.
Exactly, driving back to the stadium. It's a very unique thing. It takes about 3 years for you to be able to ask the manager if I can drive to a game, by the way.
So there is a point in time?
Yeah, unless it's changed a little bit. It took me about 3 years.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy when you're in your first big league camp. Say, well, how come he's not on the bus? Oh, he cruised back with one of the veteran guys. Mark Reynolds pinch hitting for Boone Logan, takes a breaking ball from Roach for a strike.
Of course, we were in Tucson then, so it was more like you're driving 2 hours back.
Yeah. And a sharply hit baseball to left center field for a knock for Reynolds. In his first year in a Rockies uniform. Seen, I'm sure, quite a bit against the lefties, primarily at first base. Big slugger.
I remember back in the days when they'd open the windows in Arizona when he was with them. I mean, he'd hit balls way out.
out.
Yeah.
Like out.
Yes, like out. Cargo, you remember this year when he was in Milwaukee, he said he almost hit his face off the scoreboard.
Yeah.
That's something Reynolds would do in Arizona all the time.
That ball Cargo hit in the opening series against off the top of the scoreboard.
It had beverage service.
Yeah, in Milwaukee, it did have beverage service. It was a two-movie flight.
Yeah.
Blackmon, perfect afternoon, double and a run scored, single and an RBI, and he walked and scored in the fourth. Charlie hits it to fairly deep left center field. Ball's carrying out in the middle of the track. It's hauled in by Romero. 2 outs.
Yeah, that begs the question. I always wondered this. I played the outfield. You always hear people say it's a high sky. I need someone to explain that to me. I never understood it. Put that into words.
Yeah. Well, listen, it is. They're blue skies overhead, but it's not that. It's not like a navy blue. Right now, there's kind of a look off in the distance. There was a big fire here yesterday.
Yeah.
But it's kind of got a little bit of white in it.
Okay.
That would be a high sky.
Okay, I got you.
Where you could lose a baseball potentially.
Yeah, there was. No? I don't believe in the excuses like that.
Just giving you my description. Trevor Story lines it to left. That's knuckling, and it is caught out there by Romero. Hard out by Story, who has a couple of hits already in the ball game. So Reynolds singles. He's left at first. We'll go to the 7th. The Mariners 8 and the Rockies 6 from Salt River Field.
Seattle is up. This is Ryan Spilborgs in the Denver Root Sports Studio desk. When you are done shoveling snow, you need to head down to your local Rockies dugout store and get all the stuff you need for your Rockies season. Get a Cargo jersey, a Nolan Arenado jersey. If they still have Spilborgs jerseys, I'm sure they're in the bin, the used bin. Jason Mott's coming in. Interesting thing, you guys, I want to bring this up. Last year, between Jason Mott and Jake McGee, 2 of the Rockies guys that they acquired, they ranked 1st and 2nd in baseball in fast ball usage. I want you guys to think about that for a second.
Spilly, say what you said one more time. Just say that last little bit. Ask the question again.
Okay, Jason Mott, Jake McGee, both acquired. They ranked 1st and 2nd last year as relief pitchers with the most fastball usage. 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, I think it was above 95% for McGee.
Yeah.
And Mott, and well, he should, has always loved his fastball. It's really worked well for him.
Yeah, that's a perfect thing right there. It's also good to see that they have their fastball and fastball location, that they're able to use it and go out. These young guys, Justin Miller, Scott Oberg, those guys, to learn from that and watch them challenge hitters with one pitch and move it around.
Speaking of learning from veteran guys, our next guest, Trevor Story, in his In a big league camp that he's been tearing up. Trevor, it's Drew Goodman and Corey Sullivan upstairs. Nice job today.
Thank you. How you doing?
We're doing well, but not as well as you. One of the things that's been impressive, you knew coming into this camp that there was an opportunity, clearly at shortstop. And you have an abundance of talent, but it doesn't seem like you've put a ton of pressure on you, at least outwardly. It hasn't appeared that way.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like you said, I try not to put too much pressure on myself. Just try to have fun with it. Go out there every day and, you know, play this game that I love and have fun with it. And it's done good for me so far. And, you know, I'm just going to continue to do that.
Trevor, we've talked a lot in the broadcast about spring training and spring training numbers. For a guy like yourself, do you put pressure on yourself and also in how you perform, or are you working on something to kind of catch your stride going into the season?
A little bit of both. You know, it's always nice to perform and, you know, see the numbers, but we don't get, or I myself don't get too caught up in that. You know, just really focus on the process and, you know, getting better every day on both sides of the ball. And, yeah, just working hard to get better at something every day. And, you know, if I do that, then everything will work out.
You know, you've been a pro now for 4 years, but you're obviously still very, very young in the game. Who has influenced you the most so far since turning pro?
I'd say it was Tulo when he was here. You know, he kind of took me under his wing and, you know, showed me the ropes and how to work and, you know, with what intensity to work with. And that's something that I really took from him. And, you know, from the short time that I've been with Nolan, you know, last spring in camp and here in camp, he's the same way. And I just try to pick up on things like that from, you know, superstars in the game and just try to implement that in my game.
Yeah, moving from the gold on your right to the gold on your left, you know, getting to work with DJ LeMahieu and turning double plays and everything up the middle. What's your relationship been like with him in this spring training?
Yeah, it's been good so far. I love DJ. He's a great player. He's you know, he's very quiet, but he's pretty sneaky. He can sneak up on you, but he's a great guy, and I love, you know, playing middle infield with him. And he's helped me out a lot too. You know, we try to get out there a lot and, you know, take some early ground balls and, you know, do a lot during BP so we can have a feel for each other. And it's been great so far.
Well, Trevor, I know, again, you're a young player, but some of the stories coming out of the weight room during the winter, they say you're already a legend in there. Why's that?
Is that what they say?
That's what we're hearing.
Multiple sources.
Yeah, I mean, I moved down here this offseason to work out up here at the facility. You know, kind of take advantage of that. I think they're talking about deadlift. I put up one of my personal records in that. And,
what's your PR in the dead?
It got to 525 for one, and I had everybody around me pumping me up. So yeah, it was a group effort.
You're a strong man. Good for you. Hey, Trevor, great job today and continued success. Stay healthy.
All right, thanks, guys.
Trevor Story will come back. Stretch time at Salt River Field. 8-6 Seattle. Seattle leading 8-6. There is Dinger. Making a lot of young fans happy. Michael Guipe is now on the hill. Big right-hander out of the Mariner bullpen. And Brandon Barnes is going to hit first. Came in center field. We'll where Cargo is hitting in the lineup. Nolan Arenado will follow him up. Drew Goodman, Corey Sullivan, Ryan Spilborghs, Mark Stout back in our Denver studios. Stephen Romero's moved over to first base. Brantley's behind the plate now. He was with the White Sox.
Yeah.
Or earlier in the spring, wasn't he?
Yep. He got claimed off waivers and changed clubhouses and played in the same game against them. That's pretty impressive. That's one of those things that you never expect to happen.
You know what? As long as you have a big league uniform on, Rob's probably, you know, it was different day, but I'm not going to complain.
At least he didn't have to go very far, right?
No. Here's Brandon Barnes. He's in a battle for that 25th spot. And he brings so much to a club because of the energy. I mean, he's like 8 shots of espresso every time he gets on the field, and he can defend.
He's just one of those guys. You know, I think a lot of Spilly when I see him. Spilly was the same when he played. He brought positive energy into the clubhouse on a daily basis. If you ever needed to pick me up, that's where you would go.
We're trying to get him to do the same thing now from the television standpoint.
Unfortunately, he doesn't do that. He just gets stuck in airports.
Well, yesterday he was the toast of DIA, from what we understand.
Yes.
I believe it was something like all rounds on Spilly. Was that the?
I made sure they announced that over the loudspeaker.
Well done.
Yeah.
That is true.
3-2 on Brandon Barnes. Saw him a few days ago. He had a 3-hit ball game. This is back up the middle. Ricochets to short. That's a bad break.
That's just unlucky right there. If it doesn't hit him, it's a base hit up the middle. If it hits him any other way, it's probably a base hit. But Karam's right to the shortstop.
Arenado coming up, and Ryan Spilborghs joins us from Denver. Was there a clarification?
No. It wasn't a round. It was several rounds, and I think by the time I left DIA, I might have helped pay for that new hotel that's that Westin thing.
It says they named a wing after you. There's a suite there now.
Yeah.
You did your civic duty yesterday?
Yeah, I made a lot of people happy yesterday. Just like Nolan Arenado is going to make me happy right here because he's going to break that slump. He's struggling.
Yeah, that 0 for 3. Oh, it's
yeah,
a massive slump now. I think we characterized it as just a horrendous slump in his first 2 at-bats. Now it's massive.
I wish slumps were 3 at-bats. I got to see some 30, 40 at-bat slumps. Spilly, you saw like 80.
Here's the good news, though. At least you got to see him.
Yeah.
Right? 0-2. In the dirt, 1 and 2.
0-2 is one of those counts, Drew, where it took me till later in my career where I started really learning to treat it like 2-0. And I know how that sounds because 2-0, you're looking for 1 pitch. But in 0-2, you never see a strike. It's, you know, guys are trying to get you to fish or showing you a pitch. And it took me a long time just to adapt to that.
That's an interesting philosophy. I don't know if I've ever heard it quite put that. I understand it as you explain it, but to put it that way, I think at first glance everybody's saying, what do you mean 0-2, 2-0? There's a huge difference.
A huge difference. But in the 0-2 count, typically they're showing you a pitch, a curveball. They're going to throw it down in the zone, fastball elevated out of the zone. So really, I just started zoning up and looking for a pitch that I could hit, a pitch to drive even in an 0-2 count. And it really helped me stop chasing pitches.
Center field, 1, 2, 3 innings. Parra flies out. So Guaipe with a solid frame. We'll go to the 8th, 8-6 Seattle. Gerardo Parra on the right, Ben Paulson on the left, making their way to the Rockies clubhouse. Their afternoon is complete. Most of the runs scored early in the game. The Rockies had 3 in the first, and then got a run in the second, a couple more in the fourth inning. Cargo drove in 3. Justin Miller's on the hill for the Rockies. We go down to the dugout again. DJ LeMahieu kind enough to join us. DJ, it's Drew Goodman, Corey Sullivan upstairs. How you doing?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Doing well. Doing
Good.
well. How you feeling? You ready to go, aren't you?
Yeah. I was ready to go about a week ago. But yeah, it's fun to be out here, but I'm ready to get going.
Yeah, is there I've asked the other guys ahead of you, is there anything you're really working on in spring training to kind of build on in the season?
Yeah, a couple things here and there. But for me, just getting back that consistency. But it's not easy to be consistent. So that's I'm not going to hit 40 homers. So consistency for me is my game.
How hard has that been for you to stay in your lane as a player? You know what I mean by that, where people don't put projections on you, and you know who you are. And I think you know who you are as well as anybody in the game. But that was it always easy for you?
No, I think that's the hardest part of the game, right? You want to be as successful as possible. You want to be the best player as possible, and you keep trying to push that envelope of how good you could be, but you don't want to lose yourself in the meantime. And that's something that I've struggled with, but at the same time, it's made me better. Nice play.
On that note, we talked about how comfortable you are anywhere in the lineup. I know when I played, if I hit 1, 2, or 5, I tried to adapt to that spot in the lineup, but you do such a good job. Does it bother you at all, or do you try and change?
No. It's for me, when a job has to get done, no matter where you are, that's what I'm trying to do. And, it's, for me, I think I hit all 9 spots last year, and I think it'd probably be pretty similar this year.
Talk a little bit about Trevor's story.
He has been really impressive. Not only, you can see the talent, obviously, in his numbers in spring, and you saw him make a great play today. He's been doing that all spring. But I think it's just the way he handles himself, the way he carries himself. Seems like he's ready, and there's going to be bumps in the road, but he's got that kind of personality, that kind of swagger he's going to get through tough times.
He's a physical shortstop like the guy who departed last summer, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I have a lot of guys come up to me and be like, man, that looks exactly like Tulo over there. I don't know if he wants to hear that comparison or not, but he's a big guy, really athletic, really strong. He's an athlete out there.
Did your dad ever tell you about the old days where the second baseman wasn't 6'4" and the shortstop wasn't 6'3"?
Yeah, I know. We got a kind of a backwards infield. But, it's been fun. We got a really good we have a really, really good defensive infield, that's for sure.
No question. Pretty good outfield also. Hey, DJ, we'll let you get showered up and out of here. Thanks, man.
Okay, yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
You bet. DJ LeMahieu having a terrific spring. It'll be an inside-out double. The DJ was replaced by Tony Walters, and Walters an interesting guy. He can play anywhere. He's a catcher.
Really?
He can play third. He can play second. I guarantee he plays short. He is really, really athletic. I was watching him take ground balls a couple days in a row, a week or so ago. That's not the first good play he's made defensively.
No, that showed good range, good read off the bat, and a good jump. I guess he would redefine the super utility.
Well, I think now more than ever, you know this, Corey. Yeah. The extra guy, especially like with the Rockies, they may only carry 4, especially at home. They have the extra pitcher, so you can't just be I play first base.
Absolutely.
Or I'm a third baseman. Even the middle guys, can you run out in the outfield if we need you?
Yeah.
Can we double switch and maybe you play center for a couple innings?
Yeah. Guy Rockies fans will remember for a home run against them in the World Series in 07. Not that it stings at all. Bobby Kilty, if you remember that name, I got to play with him after that, and he worked on actually trying to become a right-handed reliever to make himself the 25th man, where he could be a pinch hitter, or he could come in out of the bullpen, a la Brooks Kieschnick back in the day.
Yeah. Well, this ball is rolled to first. Ryan Castile's over there, 2 outs.
Come on, leave him out there now.
Rafael Ino's at third.
I mean, there's definitely times in my career where it would have been useful to have been a little more dynamic to be able to do a few things. I mean, I was a 25th man a couple times, and I was a 26th man a couple times.
Yeah, it's really of paramount importance. I read a piece today. You may have seen it was today or yesterday. Matt Bush, who was a former first pick in the draft, and he had some off-the-field issues with, when he was in the Padres organization. But he was drafted as a shortstop, if you remember, Corey. You were still playing, and huge arm. He never hit. Yeah, when he was playing, he never hit, and then again some of the off-the-field problems. Well, now he's around 30. And he may make Tampa's team as a reliever. He buzzes 98, 99 on the hill, and evidently he has become a bona fide candidate to break camp in their bullpen.
Yeah, and I'm sure the trials and tribulations that he's faced as a position player are only going to benefit him now as a possible reliever. I heard Kevin Cash talk on MLB Network about him, and he spoke very highly.
This is going to be a triple for number 85. And number 85 is Austin Wilson. Pretty good looking swing, and he runs the bases well. 9-6 after the RBI triple by Wilson. Brian, originally I thought it was Justin Miller coming in the game. It's Brian Schlitter in the game.
And he's one of those guys, he's about the polar opposite of Tyler Chatwood. If you watch, he gets that downward plane, the ball moving downhill, downplane fast. And that it's also difficult on a hitter because it's tough to get on plane with the baseball.
That's going to be a base hit to right. That's Rob Brantley. Played for 8 teams this spring.
But it didn't have to travel very far.
No. Stephen Romero will get his 5th at bat. Actually, you know what? I missed a guy. My book is all messed up. First spring training game.
Yep. That doesn't set the bar very, very high for the rest of the season.
No. Two outs, a couple runs in for the Mariners. 10-6, they lead in the 8th inning. Salt River Fields and Talking Stick. 2-0 on Romero. 0 for 4. He did reach on an error in the second inning. The Rockies committed 3 errors in the second. They have 5 errors in the game. For what it's worth, we didn't even mention this earlier, the Rockies 10-8-3. It's the only time where you can get a point for a tie like in the NHL.
Yeah. Playing some winning baseball, like I said, they're really focused on that win the inning attitude, trying to take that into the struggles that they've had on the road in the past few seasons.
No play. And a swinging bunt. Romero makes it first and second in front of Dae-Ho Lee.
I think it's Montero now.
Oh, it is. It's Jesus Montero. He looks, they're the same size.
Yeah, that's true.
Jesus Montero at one time one of the top prospects in the game when he was coming up with the Yankees. He was part of the significant trade from New York to Seattle.
And I played
originally a catcher, then they moved him to first, more of a DH.
I played against him that year in the International League when he hit what I would believe to, and these are going to be guesstimations, but he was probably hitting 360. And in the International League, it's not like the PCL. It's 360 is more like 400 there, because you start the season in some cold weather, and he probably had 20, 25 home runs. He was absolutely raking.
Big, strong man. 6'3" and about 250 pounds. And that is, oh, what a stop. That saved a run. There's Walters. It's a heck of a play.
Making another great play to keep the ball in the infield. I'm sure Schlitter appreciates it. The earned run stays at third base. He does a great job. He almost overplays it and tries to make the play to second base too fast. Adames was hustling over to help him, but it's another great play to keep the ball in the infield.
Chris Taylor is at the plate. Justin Miller is in the Rockies bullpen. 2 outs. Bases full of Mariners. Taylor 1 for 3 and a walk. Also reached on an error. He takes ball 1. Jackson Williams doing the catching now. We showed you a graphic a short while ago of all the changes. Mike Tauchman's in left, Barnes in center, Kyle Parker in right, Adames and Walters up the middle, Enoa and Castile on the corners.
Personally, I'd be impressed if you kept the scorebook clean in a spring training game with all the line changes.
You know, I think I have them all now defensively. I may be a little short on the Seattle side. 15 hits for the Mariners, 10 for the Rockies. That was a foul tip on the check swing, so it's 1-2. Two and 2. Brantley, Romero, and Montero on base. Where's that? Brian Schlitter was hoping that was strike 3. 3-2.
Tight little slider, did not miss. I think Alfonso Marquez just missed that a little bit. That looked a lot like strike 3.
Evidently, Alfonso does not have reservations at Don and Charlie's tonight.
Apparently not.
Adames comes and gets it, and he throws out Chris Taylor. In the inning, a couple of runs on 5 hits. Check it, 4 hits for Seattle. They're up 10-6.
It's more
Of 10 to 6, time now for the CenturyLink What's Next. And these are the spring training games we will bring you next year on Root Sports, Saturday and Sunday afternoon. Against the Rangers and against the Diamondbacks, both from Scottsdale. And then on Friday, April the 1st, will be a Mariners game, home and home with the Mariners on Saturday. And then, guys, opening day, staying in Arizona against the Diamondbacks. Looking forward to that on April the 4th as we go back to Arizona, guys.
Yeah, an interesting schedule because the Rockies will just relocate to a new hotel. That'll take all of about 15 minutes. And then
101 to the 202 and be right there.
You know what? I'm going to take Lincoln across.
Okay, I like it.
You know, go past your folks' house.
Yeah.
Or close enough. Rafael Noah will face Michael Guipe, and he takes low, ball one. He's another useful guy. You know, Adames is in the game. We'll see Christian hit here at some point. Christian, a guy that could play a lot of places. Rafael Noah, a guy who could play a lot of places. The one thing in favor right now of Christian Adames, he's out of options.
Right. You never wanted to be that guy. The guy competing with a guy who's out of options, because if you got him, there's a good chance you're going to get to use him.
But the way and I mean this in the most complimentary way.
Yeah.
And I said this, in fact, to both Rafael Noah and Christian Adames the other day. They were together in the dugout. They're baseball players.
They are.
And you know what I mean by that.
They're grinders. And what I was really impressed with Rafi was, you know, he adapted well to the role player that he had become coming off the bench. Even pinch hitting last year, he had a lot of success coming in and pinch hitting. And that's not an easy thing to do. He's made himself much more useful by also playing the outfield. And, you know, when it comes down to, like we said, that 25th man, you've got to have as many boxes checked as you can.
He hits this ball in the air to left, one out. That'll bring up Michael Tachman, product of Bradley University in Peoria, Illinois. I think Mike won an NCAA batting title when he was at Bradley.
Really?
He can swing.
Is this the pre-BB core or post-BB core?
I think it was post-BB core.
Okay.
I believe it was. Ball to short. Actually, I don't know if he led the nation. He led the Missouri Valley Conference that year. He hit 425. And something tells me that had to be up there.
Yeah, especially if it was after the changes with the bats, because 425 is a number you don't hear often anymore. You could hear it back in the days when I played, but not anymore.
Jackson Williams takes a breaking ball for a strike. Two strikes on Williams. Big league time last year with the Giants, and he swings and misses. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Guipe. We'll go to the 9th inning. It's a great way to spend your afternoon.
Sports is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Beautiful day in Scottsdale. Mark Stout and Ryan Spilborghs back here in Denver. The snow is melting, but we're going to talk about things heating up and get you the steel drive of the game, the steel power drive, and you've got the top 2 hitters in the lineup.
Yeah, I got the 1-2 punch of today. Charlie Blackmon, Trevor Story. Between the two of them, they were 4 for 7 with 3 runs scored, 2 RBIs. I think looking at that 1-2 punch, if Trevor Story is on the team, I like it, but number 2 batter, I still suggest that you use your best hitter because that's 740 plate appearances over the course of the season. That's 17 more at-bats than your 3-hole hitter. That's why I'm kind of with the new age.
Well, then you mean Nolan Arenado should hit second.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Well, we'll see if Story hits there. We'll see if he makes the team. A lot to be decided as we go back to Scottsdale and to Drew and Corey, guys.
That is an interesting conversation that has taken place in front offices the last several years about the 2 spot being almost the new 3 spot. And there's some that would take it a step further and say, you know what, if your best hitter is truly a guy you want up more than anybody else, why not lead him off?
Yeah, it's funny. My Little League coach did that. He had the best hitter hit leadoff, and my college coach did that. He had the best hitter hit leadoff. And I'm not trying to guess that they were ahead of the curve, but that was their theory, is why wouldn't we have him hit most? You know, he's going to get the most at-bats in the leadoff spot over the entire course of the season.
Robertson bunts it toward 30. Noah makes a nice play.
He read that really, really well. Got a great jump right there. I think Robertson might have showed the bunt just a hair early, or he kind of caught it a little too much on the barrel and didn't deaden it enough. But Rafi's footwork was phenomenal. He gets a great read, keeps his eyes on the ball, tracks it all the way in, bare hand, gets the throw off to first base in less than a step. That's a great job by Rafi Yanoa right there.
Justin Miller on the mound for the Rockies.
I think Justin Miller is one of those guys who's truly going to benefit from the additions of Jason Mott and Chad Qualls. They've both thrown in high leverage innings over the course of their career, also in the playoffs. And I think Justin Miller is one of those guys who's got the kind of stuff that's going to be a back end of the bullpen kind of guy. I love his fastball. I love the way he challenges hitters, and his slider is filthy.
Yeah, he's definitely in the mix. We have the entire travel roster for the Mariners, and there's no number 5 listed.
Nope.
Ed Lucas, we saw Ed. Where did we see Ed? Ed's been in the big leagues. Where did we see Ed last year?
I gotcha.
And is Ed one of those Ivy League guys? Something tells me he may be. Ed Lucas, actually, we're doing some fast research, had retired, moved into a front office, and then said, you know what, I'm going to unretire. I'm going to give it another whirl.
That's incredible.
And he does. He has big league time. I'm trying to remember who it was with. We're just hoping the computer would work a little faster. He went to Dartmouth. So I knew he was an Ivy League guy. Did he hold up? Yeah, 3-2. Dartmouth's got a pretty good program up there in Hanover, New Hampshire.
Yep.
Chris O'Dowd, product of Dartmouth as well. Now in the Atlanta organization. Chris, another one of those guys you can catch and play other spots. And a good pitch by Miller. He tied up Ed Lucas.
Miller's stuff is just, it really is electric. And if he learns to command it on a consistent basis, there's not a whole lot hitters can do. We talk about Jake McGee and him using his fastball 95% of the time. Justin Miller can learn volumes from watching that because he's got the slider that is absolutely devastating. That streak he went on last year where he struck out 8 hitters in a row tells you how good his stuff is. He just needs to work on his command just a little bit, and when he can command his pitches to all quadrants of the strike zone, he's dangerous.
Efren Navarro takes ball 1. The Rockies reshaping their bullpen. A couple of veterans added. Chad Qualls, Jason Mott, who pitched earlier, pitched well. This ball lined to right, base hit.
Yeah, I talked a little bit with John Weil about that, and their efforts were really to focus on trying to shorten the game for their starters, not have to put so much pressure on them to go 5 or 6 or even 7 innings. Get some guys down there, some arms down there that can command the fastball and just shorten the game for them, especially also for those young starters that are on the verge of breaking through into the major leagues.
Benji Gonzalez. Looking out there on the berm, a lot of folks still here, but a lot of folks have moved on to activity number 2 or whatever it was on the day.
There are lots of choices out here.
There are a lot of choices, and if you're sitting out on that berm and you've been out there for 3 hours, you're gonna have a pretty good sunburn or tan. Cool thing about sitting out there is the outfielders every inning their warm-up ball they throw you have a chance for baseball every inning.
Yeah.
This is going to drop. 18 hits for the Mariners. I'm double dipping. I'm going to go across. The Cubs and Giants are starting as we speak. Want to go?
No.
You're going to pass?
Yep.
Back to the folks?
No, well, I got to go to the airport.
You got to go to the airport?
Yeah, I got to pick up my buddy.
One of your Wake buddies?
Yeah, one of my Wake Forest buddies coming out for a little golf weekend.
Here's Wilson. Austin Wilson. He tripled his first at bat. On Wilson. Inside 1-1. Rockies will be in Goodyear tomorrow. No television. They'll be taking on the Cincinnati Reds. And then we're back on the air on Saturday, home against the Rangers, and then in air quotes away but home against the Arizona Diamondbacks on Sunday. Again, we'll have the 2 weekend ball games for you while you're playing golf.
I will be. That is true. Actually, on Saturday, I think we're coming to the game.
Are you?
As fans, yeah. Unless Billy gets snowed in again. I've heard the name Wally Pipp. I don't know.
You know what? You never know.
Yeah.
It's happened in broadcasting, right?
Yeah, of course.
Bouncer to Walters. And he went with the tag, and Walters ends that frame for Seattle. So we'll go to the bottom of the ninth. The Rockies trailing 10-6. No shortage of scenic beauty in the state of Arizona. The Glen Canyon Dam. Drew Goodman and Corey Sullivan. Mike Montgomery is going to throw the ninth inning for Seattle. They're up 4 runs. They've tried to remake their bullpen as well. There's a big left-hander. They went out and got Steve Cishek, the former closer for the Marlins, and Joaquin Benoit, another former closer. But Montgomery will get work here, and first up will be the second baseman slash catcher slash third baseman, Tony Walters.
The going trend of having 3 or 4 closers in your bullpen has made it much harder on bench players. It's tough to go out there and find that hit against those guys.
Well, the goal is to try to make it a 6-inning game.
Yep.
That's so. Yeah, I mean, that everybody copies the winner, right?
Right.
Kansas City's been to back-to-back World Series champions last year.
Yep.
They made it a 6-inning game.
They did.
Boy, Walters, you see that?
Yep.
He glanced back, and then when he came forward, Montgomery's already in his delivery.
And I think he was having a little word with Alfonso Marquez, trying to, say, make sure you give me some time to hit here.
2 balls and a strike.
It's hard enough left on left, plus the shadows are creeping in. It puts you in a defensive position automatically.
Walters originally drafted by the Indians in the 3rd round. Dealt with some knee injuries while he was with Cleveland. He's generously listed at 5'10".
So are you.
I wish I was listed at 5'10". And Gonzalez boots that. It's the Mariners' first error. The Rockies made 5 of them today.
It's not something you often see in a major league game in season, 6 errors, but spring training, I'm not sure why. Maybe it's a little lack of focus in the games, but or working on things and thinking about that in your at bat when you're out on the field.
Kyle Parker, and Kyle with a shot up the middle for a base hit. And Kyle's one of those guys that was taken off the 40-man, and he went unclaimed, re-signed with the Rockies, and will be in AAA in all likelihood.
I talked a little bit to him last time I was here about, the first time you get designated or taken off the roster and how it can be a little shot to your ego. when you don't get claimed. But he talked about now having a little chip on his shoulder, and I think that's a good thing. And I love seeing him coming up in the at-bat, getting the first pitch he sees and spinning the pitcher's cap.
And on this ball to the backstop, the runners will move up. Christian Adames at the plate. Adames in a battle with Story for the starting spot, but Adames gives you a lot of versatility. We were talking about it earlier. He can play a number of places. He's got some pop in his bat. Seen him go deep from the left side this spring. Got a couple of home runs, in fact.
Yeah, he's
always a good, solid player.
Yeah, he was always known as a glove guy up until about a year and a half ago. He really transformed in the winter leagues. He went down and won a batting title, came back and continued to do the same thing at AAA last year, and as well when he came up to the big leagues.
He was ready for the opportunity.
Yep.
Good eye. He's done a good job this spring getting the ball in play. Just 5 strikeouts here in March. And almost 40 at bats. Down the first base line, foul. Brandon Barnes is on deck. 2 on, nobody out. Rockies down by 4 here in the 9th inning. If you're just jumping on board, been out shoveling snow. Rockies got 3 in the first. Double by Blackman, double by Story, double by Cargo. Later on in the inning, a run-scoring single from DJ LeMahieu. Rockies in the second had an RBI base hit from Charlie Blackman. Cargo in the 4th drove in 2 more with a double. He had a pair of doubles today. Tyler Chatwood got the start and was behind, quite honestly, in a number of at-bats. And that's a base hit up the middle for Adames. And that'll score 2.
He battled that whole at-bat. You know, with runners on second, third, nobody out, and I know it's spring training and we don't worry about the score, but you could see he was trying to get him over and get him in. Fouling balls off to the right side of the infield. He's doing a great job letting the ball get deep. He fouled off a pitch that was in after that. This pitch, also a hard fastball in. He does a great job pulling his hands inside the baseball, driving it right back up the middle to get himself 2 RBIs.
You know, some are saying, okay, this is a time of game where there's a lot of 80s and 90s, you know, some minor league guys up for a day getting an opportunity. Well, for Christian Adames, that's his only at bat in all likelihood today. It's a real important at bat to him.
It's a very important, and the guy on the mound's not a guy throwing 80s or 90s. He made his major league debut last year. And, you know, they're out there, everybody's trying to make a team. Christian Adames battled in that at bat, and he's shown what he's capable of as a player coming off the bench and as well as a starter.
Barnes hit a ball hard his first time up when he came into the ball game. It ricocheted off the Guaype's leg, the pitcher, right to the shortstop. Ball and a strike on Barnes. Error, single, 2 runs for the Rockies. hit for the barnyard.
It's a good opportunity for Brandon to show his value. He's getting an at-bat against the left-handed pitcher, which is, as we've talked about in the competition with Ryan Rayburn, Ryan's had a lot of success this year, or in the past, against left-handed pitchers. Now Brandon's got an opportunity to show what he can do as well. It was a great job right there, just doing something simple, putting the ball in play and getting himself a base knock.
Emilio Pagan is now throwing in the Seattle pen. Ryan Castile at the plate for the Rockies inside. And it's 2-0. See, he has missed a beat, the man in the middle. It's like, Mom and Dad, you got to put your hat on backwards. We got to get the rally cap going. Just foul. You know what happens if Barnes scores?
Well, I can make an educated guess, but I'd rather just defer. What?
You're guaranteed, as we talked about earlier, a point in the standings.
Yes.
And
well, no, not if they play extra baseball.
They will not play extra baseball.
Do you know that?
I have a really good feeling.
Okay.
I think both teams are good. I think Scott's service is bounced to short. You know what's interesting there, I want to point this out. I don't know if we'll have a shot of it, but going in hard to second, Brandon Barnes, that's the only way he plays. But the rule has changed.
Right.
You have to slide at the bag or be within reach of the bag. You cannot slide late. Now this is, and if you slide over, they can automatically call you out. And you can see he takes out the middle infielder, Gonzalez. And that's probably, honestly, a borderline. Well, and I'm not saying it wasn't dirty. It was a hard play. But they're going to look at those on review. And if they felt like it was late, they can call both runners out. Now, obviously, both runners were out anyhow.
Right. I thought it was my understanding you can slide late, but you have to be able to hold the bag.
Hold the bag.
Right. You got to be able to hold it.
But that's probably the new textbook type of slide that Brandon Barnes had right there.
He always plays the game hard in the right way, and Chase Utley has kind of forced the change in the rule, but it was a great slide by Brandon there, trying to force the double or break up the double play.
Here's Ryan Rayburn, his first at bat of the ball game. He has swung it well since being signed by the Rockies. Sully mentioned it earlier. The last 3 years, Ryan Rayburn has collected an OPS of over 1,000, produced an OPS of over 1,000 against left-handed pitching. On the ground to third, and a good throw will end the ball game. So the Rockies rally for a pair in the 9th inning. They will fall today to the Seattle Mariners 10-8. Good offense from the Rockies. Sully, defense not sharpened. You know what? The good news for Chatwood is he's back on a big league mound, and he's still working the rust out. But, you know, today was one of those days where there were not enough strikes from his perspective.
It's just a good opportunity to learn a good lesson. You know, we talk about him trying to repeat those mechanics and find that arm slot. This is a lesson for him to learn, and he'll obviously go watch some film and see what he was doing wrong, whether he was flying or not, and move on and take it into his next start.
Great job today pinch hitting for your former teammate.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the opportunity.
And you can go back to the golf course beginning this weekend with your Demon Deacon teammate.
Will do, and I appreciate it. Thanks.
Right. Great job, Sully.
Thanks.
Let's get it back to our Denver studios. 10-8 the final. Seattle over the Rockies this afternoon from Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. Mark Stout, Ryan